Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in, guys, along for the ride. Along with Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson, I'm Frank Frangie. Thanks for stopping by today. A Wednesday installment of our program, and a big Wednesday because we saw the future today. I trust by now most of the people that care or are interested, which I think is most of you that listen to this radio station, this program, have probably seen it. Mark Lamping did an interview. You talked to him today. We'll have Mark on the program live. I don't know that we'll do it today. He was being inundated today. He had about 7,000 interview requests today, so he may do it today, but we may let him breathe a little bit and get Mark on. There's going to be 14, essentially they're called huddles, but it's a really good idea. 14 essentially town hall meetings is what they are all over town. So anybody that's got a question could show up and ask. Rather than the thing they all got criticized for with the Lot J stuff was not being transparent. Well, they couldn't be any more transparent now. He's talking. He's going on radio shows. He's doing interviews. He's doing interviews with print guys. And then they're all going to do 14 town hall meetings. In fact, one's at my neighborhood next Wednesday. So they're going to be all over town. So you'll have a lot of chances to ask those questions to Mark Lamping and the people and the Jaguar people. But it was pretty cool. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Rory spoke today for the first time. I got NBA tonight. Got all kind of fun stuff. But the news of the day is the stadium. My first thought, and I've been to SoFi. You haven't been to SoFi, right?
No.
Okay. It's SoFi. My first thought is being to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. That is what it looks like. I'm sure smaller, and it's not $5 million or $4 million or whatever that one cost. But the design, not just the fact that there's a roof but no sides, the way it looks like with the roof and no sides, it is SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. I'm telling you, Hayes, that is what it looks. I still can harken back to the first time Mark Lamping, before I'd been to SoFi, kind of described it to me. He said, well, you can have a Final Four. He said, how do you have a Final Four if it's open air? Because it's covered. So it's almost like an outdoor Final Four, which is cool. So
SoFi was $5.5 billion,
yeah.
And that was constructed in 2020.
Yeah, 5.5.
But it looks that nice,
yeah.
To your point.
But I'm telling you, for someone who has been to SoFi a number of times and have seen this one, it looks like SoFi. It looks like SoFi Stadium. It's very, very similar to where the Rams and the Chargers play. I think it's gorgeous. We'll talk all about what it means, some of the specifics that came out of the video and the comments and whatnot. But I couldn't wait to see it, and I wasn't disappointed. I guess that's kind of the point.
It's sensational, and it's going to be everything that the fans wanted. The Jaguars, to your point about being transparent about everything that will go along with this plan, they were very transparent or responsive in seeking out the fans' opinions. And as Mark said, obviously we had a pretty fair idea of what the survey was going to tell us because we listened. But, obviously it cover from the heat, cover from the rain, and wider concourses. And, this does that. It's made of an interesting material. It's called ETFE. It's almost like sunglasses. It will prevent the rain from getting in. It reduces heat by about 70%, according to the chief designer of it. It creates a little bit of an issue on turf versus grass. They want it to be a grass field, but it cannot be a retractable field like you see in Arizona.
Right.
So this doesn't allow for that. So they're hopeful that enough sunlight will get in that if there's areas that the sun doesn't hit, they can bring in lamps to keep the grass alive.
SoFi's grass, isn't it? I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
You think I would know, wouldn't you? I should know that.
Yeah.
Truth is I don't know.
Yeah.
I find myself.
SoFi has artificial matrix turf.
It's artificial. Okay, so
So,
they want this to
yeah.
be grass. And again, and to Hayes' point, I want you to continue. But to Hayes' point, in Arizona, it's totally enclosed, but they have grass because they have almost like a baking sheet. That's what it looks like. And they roll it out, and it stays in the sun and gets sun and irrigation, and then they roll it in to play football on it. It's one of the craziest things you have been there.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the craziest things you've ever seen. The geography doesn't allow for that here.
Correct.
And but interesting.
But yeah, so obviously it provides shelter from the heat. It provides shelter from the rain. the concourses are gorgeous. I mean, they're 4 times as wide as they are now in certain places. I think they're 3 times as wide everywhere. And it's really cool to see how basically what they're going to do is they'll remove the kind of the ramps. You won't see that anymore. But the entry points will be the 4 corners of the facility, and those will be open. They have this beautiful, garden that, as you walk in, and and so as you get to it, it's all, they've got 32 new escalators being put in, 13 new elevators. It will solve the biggest problems that the fans had in their experience of going to games, and obviously, again, this goes without saying, but it's a stadium project that has to be done. The current stadium as it is not sustainable, and requires hundreds of millions of dollars a year for just upkeep. So, and again, not that anybody argues that. Everybody realizes that it's time for an upgraded stadium. So, yeah, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. Obviously, you think of the great times that potentially we will have in it. You think of the events. I mean, I don't know about Final Four. That seems pretty ambitious to me. But I do think you could have the biggest acts in music playing there. You're not going to have, Taylor Swift not coming here. This will be a place where any music act, the top of the line, will want to play here. And I think that's incredibly exciting. So if you're a big music fan, I think it can really help. Obviously, from a football standpoint, outside of the Jaguars, it's going to really help the Gator Bowl in terms of its profile, and it keeps Florida Georgia here. They're very excited about it. It's really interesting. They have this cool fabric on the sides that they can project images onto, but if they need additional seating, because Jaguar capacity is going to be about 62,000.
Yeah, 62 or 60?
62.
62, okay.
But if they can go to 71,500 without adding any additional seating. So they have this fabric that they can project images onto that goes through the sides. The scoreboards will remain the same.
Right.
But you'll have now projected images along the side of the building, but those are collapsible, which is so cool. So for Florida, Georgia, those will just collapse down, and you can put seating where they would normally be.
I wonder if, and I'll ask Mark this, I don't know if anybody asked him this, does it can expand to 71.5. That's still 10,000 fewer than Florida, Georgia's had. Does that matter, or can they add extra seating for Florida, Georgia, or does Florida, Georgia both say 71's fine? That's the question I don't know, and we'll find that out.
Yeah.
So your guess is that even after they do that, they could still add seating.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So they can get to wherever they need to get.
Because to your point, the seating behind the collapsible fabric is not necessarily temporary seating. Like they've had to bring in all of that temporary seating for Florida, Georgia, in addition to what we have. That they could still do that.
Yes. My guess is the seating is there. Yeah. It's just you're not going to see it.
Right. And then they could bring.
But then they just would.
Yeah.
Collapse the fabric, and then the seats are there.
And we'll add, and obviously the Florida Georgia part's a big piece. If you looked at the renderings, one of them even had. Did you notice the one that had the Florida Georgia, the two logos?
Georgia was in there twice because they also put a playoff game in there.
That's right.
And they used this year's national title game, so they had Georgia TCU.
To tie it all together, SoFi Stadium's roof is made of the ETFE that this stadium's roof will be made of.
I'm telling you, Lauren, looking at it, I kept hearing. It's going to have a roof but not sides, so it's going to be open air but a roof. So, kind of like SoFi. And I kept hearing, kind of like SoFi. Well, it's just like it. I mean, go look at the pictures.
But less than half the cost, which I think is fascinating.
And probably the size is different, But,
well, and again, that was a new build.
Yeah, that's
This is a renovation.
That's correct.
Which they estimate saves $1 billion right off the top.
What did he talk about pricing?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break. There's a lot more to talk about. We have some comments from Mark Lamping. Hayes met with him today in a group interview. And, again, we will have Mark on the show at some point moving forward during this town hall period, I would imagine, to talk about some of the specific details of it. But you know how hard he's worked at this. Again, this is a guy that built MetLife Stadium, which is still as good a stadium as there is in the National Football League. He knows how to do this. He said it's time. I know what he said to you. You just heard Gibby play the spot or the cut. It's time. It is time. They started having conversations about this in 16. They decided to do it in 20. 3 years later, they have a plan. It's a good plan, and we'll tell you about the politics of it in a bit. But I don't think you're going to get the resistance that you can't. You're getting some because you always do, but that they've gotten in the past. We'll certainly talk about the stadium. That'll be our first topic. You'll hear some of the comments of Mark Lamping. Rory McIlroy spoke today. He his whole transcript. I didn't hear it, but I read the whole transcript. What he thinks all about the Live PGA merge, if you will. We'll certainly talk about that coming up today on the program. There's basketball tonight. The Pac-12's got an interesting thing going. We'll get to that. We'll get to some college football later on. But the stadium and the Jags are where we start. That's the news of the day in Jacksonville. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Each one of us remembers when we felt it the first time, when you looked up and down those bleachers and saw 90,000 saluting alongside you. When you first saw a gator.
1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by Darley's Plumbing.
The schedule is set for number 2 Gators as they host number 15 South Carolina in the NCAA Super Regionals in a 3-game series. The opener is set for Friday, June 9th at 6 p.m., followed by a Saturday 3 p.m. match. If necessary, Game 3 will be on Sunday. You will be able to hear the Friday game on 10:10 a.m. as the Gators take on the Gamecocks in a best-of-3.
Hey, folks, it's Frank Frangie, and I want to thank Coach Ellen and the team at Darley's for providing all the plumbing work for a brand-new walk-off charities building that's being built. Being a San Souci guy, I've known the team at Darley's for years. They're a company I trust for my plumbing needs, and you can too.
Thanks for those kind words, Frank. At Darley's Plumbing, we don't just do residential house calls. We're your first draft pick for commercial business plumbing, too. Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. As proud sponsors of the Jacksonville Icemen, we keep Showtime loaded with hockey hobby boxes. Trilogy Hockey is back following 1 year off. On average, each hobby box contains 1 autograph and 1 memorabilia card. Find that and more hockey at Showtime. Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
It's bowl season. Well, at least at Bono's it is. Frank Frangie here. You've got to try the new Mac Attack. It's mac and cheese topped with your choice of barbecue meat for just $10.99. Or go with the Pit Boss. Cornbread topped with Bono's baked beans and your choice of barbecue meat for just $10.99. That's right, creamy mac and cheese or cornbread and baked beans and your choice of smoked turkey, pork, brisket, or sausage for just $10.99. So head to Bono's today, and remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial. We're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
The Community First Igloo, the newly renovated Family Ice facility, is celebrating its official grand opening from June 6th through the 11th. The fun starts Tuesday with a ribbon cutting at 11:30 a.m. While there, check out the Key Renter Esports Gaming Lounge for free gaming from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. all week long. There's also free public skating from 10 a.m. to noon on Wednesday and Thursday, a beer tasting event, and a mixology class set for Friday and Saturday. For more information, visit communityfirstigloo.com.
Get your news and notes from the swamp.
Alligators ornery cause they got all them teeth.
I'm Taylor Dahl, and I'll bring you the Gator Report to keep you connected to Gainesville.
Wow! Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts on 1010XL.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
If you're often tired, have trouble exercising, or your heartbeat feels irregular, you might have atrial fibrillation, or AFib. Left untreated, AFib can put a strain on your heart and increase your risk of a stroke. But the new Heart Rhythm Center at Baptist Health can help. With the latest treatment options for heart disorders like AFib, Our team of specialists can get you feeling stronger again. Learn more at baptistjacks.com/AFib or call 904-202-2342.
If it's time to upgrade or remodel your old fireplace, there's one name to know: CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Schedule a showroom tour and see why local builders voted CSS the best of St. John's. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us with Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson. I'm Frank Frangie. The stadium was reviewed. The stadium plan was revealed, or unveiled, I should say, today. Mark Lamping met with a few of the media members after, and again, he will, I promise you, Mark will come on the show with us. But again, we didn't want to inundate him right now. But he's going to be doing an awful lot of town hall meetings. But one question that has come up a bunch is 2 years versus 4 years. Let me stand my ground on this. We've had this talk 1,000 times. I think I would go play somewhere else for 2 years and get it done faster. I felt that way from the get-go. I still feel that way. I think the three of us kind of agreed on that yesterday. But Hayes, in a meeting with you, it was you, Mark Long, and D-Rock kind of together with Mark today.
Correct. And John Osher was there as well.
Johnny O as well. So, and there's a lot of questions about, do you do it over a 2-year period or over a 4-year period, and what are the differences financially? Here's Hayes with Mark Lamping earlier today.
Is it easier for this to be like build it all at once, or does it matter if it's a stop and start? Like,
yeah, it's I can answer that one. It can be built over 2 years or 4 years. Okay, you can. Okay, there are trade-offs. Okay, if you want to do it in the least disruptive and the fastest manner. Once you start renovations, you complete the renovations. You can do that in about 30 months, which would impact 2 NFL seasons. Okay. But if you choose that route, you can't play games there. So you have to move the game someplace else. There's 2 paths you can go down. One is to take the games to almost NFL-ready stadiums, Florida Field, Camping World Stadium. Okay. The other option would be to add seats to an existing facility here in Jacksonville. So we've done preliminary work on adding 20,000 seats to the baseball grounds and adding 20,000 seats to Hodges Stadium at UNF. Okay, gets you to about 30,000. Okay, so those solutions come with a significant cost. It's about $125 million to go play in a temporary facility.
Mark Long throwing in a little laugh there. $125 million. So that's not going to happen. The local option, I don't think is going to happen, and the 4-year option, I don't think is going to happen because Mark Lamping then went on to say, if you make it a 4-year plan where the team would play its football seasons in Jacksonville, it adds $190 million to the cost.
Well, let's hear that thought. Why 2 years makes a lot of sense.
The least disruptive, the most efficient, and the cheapest route is to do it over 2 years and go to a stadium that you don't have to add a lot to, which would either be Florida Field or Camping World Stadium. We've had conversations with both. We've given them the specs, and I think it's fair to say that both would be interested.
The comments of Mark Lamp. You'll hear some of the more comments as we move along. But I want to go back to the 2-4 thing. That will be where I think, from the football fan, you'll get the most pushback. I don't think the football fan is going to push back much on the stadium. Now, maybe the non-football fans are, because they always do. You're always going to get some pushback, which is why it's wise to have these town hall meetings. I'm going to say what I said again yesterday. I'll say it again and again and again. I think the stadium is going to get done. I think the mayor and the city council will approve the plan. That doesn't mean there won't be some give and take, but they'll approve a plan. I think the stadium will come in at 1.4, 1.5 million, whatever, and then $2 million to do the whole thing, or whatever.
Billion.
Was that $2 billion? I'm convinced it's going to be $1 million. Okay. I'm standing my ground.
You're such an optimistic guy.
Y'all can argue all you want. I'm staying on $1 million. So okay. But I think 1.5 billion or so to do the stadium is where we're going to land, notwithstanding the surrounding areas and developing the fairgrounds for the Florida satellite campus and some other areas down in the east side. And I think it'll get done. And then I think some people will complain about it. There will be members of the media, members of the non-sports media, saying we shouldn't be using these taxpayer dollars because we need better drainage. And there'll be some members of the populace that'll speak out and say, well, we shouldn't be using this because we shouldn't be funding it for this rich billionaire. Because that's exactly what is said in every single market they do one of these in. In Nashville and Buffalo, the two most recent ones, they said it. In Indianapolis, when they built that beautiful Lucas Oil Stadium, they said it. In Los Angeles, they said, you'll always hear we shouldn't do it. You'll always have so I'm preparing you for those comments that are going to be coming, some from the non-sports media and some from the fan base. It's coming, but I still think the deal is going to get done. So I have very little concern that this deal won't get done. Very little.
To the people who think it's just a football stadium, Hayes addressed that in the last segment, and please remember that the economic impact of having a National Football League team in your city is massive. And, oh, by the way, college football playoff, NFL draft, potentially Final Four, music festivals, that list goes on, maybe a Super Bowl. But the economic impact of having the team here alone is not just having 8 games at the NFL stadium in your town.
100% agree, and a very well-made point. But there will be people that don't care about any of that. There'll be people that say we shouldn't use it because there's a pothole, and we shouldn't use it because we need a ramp, and a part needs renovated. I'm just telling you. Trust me on this.
Sure.
It's coming because it comes in every single market, and and your elected officials are charged with getting that right. That's why there's not a public referendum. Hayes made a great point yesterday. It's not just a public referendum for a stadium wouldn't pass. I'm glad you said this. A public referendum for a library and museum wouldn't pass either because the people that don't care about libraries and museum aren't going to vote for it. So that was a really good point that I hadn't thought about. It's not just it won't pass in Jacksonville. It's the other areas of other type buildings wouldn't pass either. So anyway, I don't worry that it's not going to pass. It's going to be beautiful. I'm excited about it. The debate will be the 2 versus 4. That's in my mind. What don't you? I think that will be the conversation in the populace because all the football people are going to be for this stadium. But there's a lot of good, honest, hard-working football people. They're going to push back on the 2-year, and I get it. The team's going to be really good, and again, by the way, we're talking about 2 or 3 years from now. But we're talking about 2025, right? Mm-hmm. We're not even if this deal got agreed, the next council meeting. It's not, by the way. If they agreed in the next council meeting, we're still 3 years away from breaking ground. So, but presumably the team will be very good in that stretch, and why do I have to go 2 years without being able to drive downtown to see my team? Well, that's just the way you do business. So I interested in what you said. You're pretty convinced it'll be a 2-year. 2 years the team goes away for 2. You're pretty convinced that's where it's going to land.
I think so. And again, an interesting point with that is that Mark made is, look, I hope we get to that discussion point because it means we have a stadium deal.
That's right.
I mean,
that's a good point.
You know, if we're having the 2 versus the 4, that means we have a stadium deal, and that's the biggest thing. But yeah, I don't understand why you would spend $190 million you don't have to spend.
Well, that's another good point. If it's 190,
I mean,
it's
if you're worried about potholes and drainage, and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Well, you can $190 million.
Yeah. You can fill a lot of potholes for $200 million.
Correct.
And if it's $200 million, and you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth either. You can't say we're spending too much money on this stadium when we have the potholes. Oh, by the way, I go spend the extra $200 million so I can see my team. It doesn't work like that. So I'm first of all, and I get Mark's point. If you want this so badly, and you know the city needs it so badly, even though I think there's all the momentum that this is going to get done, until it gets done, it's like when you're trying to win the World Series or you're trying to win the Super Bowl, and you're trying to win the World Series and you're up 8-1 in the 6th inning. Everybody's pretty convinced you're winning, except you, right? Because you're not convinced you're winning because you still got 3 more innings and you're gonna have the goddamn the World Series. You got to win the World Series, right?
And you went to the World Series the year before and you lost.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with Lot J with the Jaguars.
That's a good point.
They felt like they were close to developing something downtown, that did not go through.
So you're close to winning the World Series. So even though I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a stadium deal, until you get through that 9th inning, I get it. So, but I think we're going to. I think the debate will be, in my opinion, I'm relatively confident that the debate is going to be the whole 2 years versus 4 years. And again, I think I'll say what I've said. I've never wavered from this. I think 2 years is the plan. I hate to see the team go for 2 years like everybody else. We all have to drive down there for 2 years. I think Gainesville's a better plan than Orlando, and it has nothing to do with me being a graduate of the University of Florida. If you choose not to believe that, that's your choice. But I can assure you, if Florida State was there, I would say the same thing. It has nothing to do with my alma mater. I think it's better than going to Orlando. I think Orlando, you're going to hit all the chatter about the Orlando Jags
And
all
traffic.
the sarcasm. It's an artificial turf field. It's I think Gainesville's better. It's bigger. Again, for me, I think that's what they ought to do. So we'll see what winds up happening. But I think 2 years versus 4 years, that will be the discussion point. I think. I almost get the sense, and because they're doing so much due diligence in terms of the town hall meetings, or the huddles, the huddle up as they're calling them, that we've had so much time. They've learned from the Lot J.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new council in place, and I can tell you it's a good council. I know of the 19, I know about 15 of them pretty well, and it's a good council who really care about Jacksonville. I think Mayor Deegan I think she understands the importance of this. I really believe that. So I think Mayor-elect Deegan. So I believe this thing will be headed in a very positive direction. I think that the conversation, I don't think there'll be nearly as much resistance and pushback, other than the normal resistance and pushback, than you've had in past. I really believe that.
Well, and I think the beauty of this is the plan in its totality, because I really think a key cog in this whole thing is the Florida satellite campus. That's going to be a big part of this. Schott has already given them $5 million. We know that the deal is happening, and he is going to give the property to the university, which is substantial. He paid $13 million for it. It's worth more than that now. But this is what that does. You need vibrancy in these areas. When you put the infrastructure in, one of the biggest things always that we talk about is, well, who is going to be down there? And they talk about residential, and that's great. But this is even better, because this is a 10,000 student body, all graduate students. So a fantastic demographic, young, serious, aspiring, young business people, young career-minded people in graduate school. It's going to attract a fantastic faculty, a faculty that is going to be attracted to the amenities of a big city. So you're going to have a 10,000 student body at this satellite campus. That's going to provide the vibrancy that you need. And that's, I think, a key to the whole thing, because you're going to have not only a fantastic stadium, but you're then also going to have, I think, a fantastic, exciting young demographic that is there all the time.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Frank, one of the huddle ups is at the Ramada. I heard Casey and the Sunshine Band will be playing.
You know what that's going to do? Close the deal, Caroline. We're closing the deal. You bring in Shad, me, and Casey, deal closed. So there's that. But I'm excited about what they're going to do. And again, I'm going to caution you, if you're listening to this program, you have been warned. You are going to see pushback from members of the non-sports media, from fans who don't care about football. There's always the why are we funding this instead of the rich billionaire funding all of it? Who, by the way, is funding half of it? Why aren't we? And so that's converse. And again, pick a city. I can remember when Pittsburgh built Heinz Field. It came up. I mean, pick a city. You knew all about the Indianapolis stuff.
Oh, sure.
It was really loud.
And there's always resistance. There was a ton of resistance to that. Indianapolis couldn't be happier with Lucas Oil Stadium.
Couldn't be happier.
If you went back and asked people now, they'd be, well, let's get rid of it. You want to get rid of it? They'd be like, no, because it's been fantastic for the city. And it's going to be the same thing here. Again, this is a 25-year investment. It's not something that you are going to pay for and you only get to use one time. This is a generational investment. And I think it's going to be great. By the way, again, in terms of all the things that go into this, so $2.6 million has been spent on the research, the design, the project to this point to figure out the best way to do this. 2.6 has been spent, 2.6 million. The Jaguars have covered 2.5 million of that. I mean, the Jaguars want to be here. They want to get it done.
Right.
They've basically asked the city for nothing in terms of figuring out the best plan for this, a plan that everybody is going to benefit from. And again, I think it's I think we're getting ready to have the best decade, and then best 25 years and best future generations that we've had in our great city.
And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. There are hundreds of cities that have sports teams. There are probably 40 cities, maybe 50 cities, okay, that have a major league team of some sort, okay? That's it. The other hundreds and thousands of cities don't. The minute Buffalo doesn't do what the owner and the team in the league asked, the team is going to Toronto. That's it.
They knew that. That's why they built.
That's why they built it. The minute the Nashville doesn't do what the Titans want. The minute Oakland doesn't do what the Raiders want, the Raiders are going to Las Vegas. The minute the Chargers don't do what San Diego doesn't want, San Diego's going to SoFi in L.A. That's how it works. Now, we can complain. We can complain forever. Can you believe they asked this? Can you believe they asked that? Can you believe this? Can you believe that? Man, that's arrogant. Man, that's. Can you believe? Can you believe? Can you believe? Well, after you're done all the can you believes, you do it, or the team goes somewhere else every time. And I hope people understand. And I think now they've learned that. I think the best thing that happened for the Bills, the Titans, the Jags, and whoever's next is the Rams, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Don't you think?
Yeah, and
best thing that could have happened.
And don't think for a second there aren't other candidates. Look, St. Louis basically had their team stolen from them.
Right.
I mean, the Rams owner, Stan Kroenke, wanted to get to L.A. The league wanted to be in L.A. after a decades-long absence. So St. Louis didn't really even have a chance to keep their team. I mean, they would be chomping at the bit, as would, I think, 4 or 5 other really attractive cities in the U.S. So don't have the attitude either of, well, where are they going to go? They've got options. Now, they haven't sought that out. That's just, we just know the league. We know what's happened, so we know the cities that would be there. But again, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to come to that. The Jaguars want to be here. I think they've got a great plan. I think obviously they're going to be as transparent about it as they can with the 14 community events that they're going to be doing in June. I mean, anybody that has a question is going to have an opportunity to ask it and to get an answer. So, I could not be more excited about where this is headed.
We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay with us. 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is the place for Jaguars football.
This year obviously was huge for this organization, for our city. The fans obviously brought it.
1010XL, home of Jaguars fans.
Thank you, Jacksonville people. Man, we appreciate you guys.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason Stanley Pools is a family tradition of fine swimming pools. It's locally owned and run by the Stanley family since 1988. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build and renovate our pool, and they do a fantastic job of maintaining it. I've recommended Stanley Pools for years for pool construction, repairs, maintenance, and renovation. Call Stanley Pools at 269-7277 today to transform your backyard. That's Stanley Pools, 269-7277.
Saturday, June 24th, the UFC returns to Jacksonville. The heavy-handed Josh Emmett looks to turn back undefeated phenom Ilia Topuria, plus dangerous Brazilian Amanda Ribas takes on the future Macy Barber. Don't miss UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Topuria, live from VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Garrett Scantling, and when I needed surgery on my foot, I selected Dr. Acevedo and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what orthopedic injury you have, go where you're treated like a pro. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Dr. George Acevedo, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Thanks to all of the athletes who ask us to help them get back on their feet. Come see us today.
Relieve pain and bring it back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Do you have a plumbing problem that's making you feel like a sitting duck? Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic. Our team of expert plumbers will have your pipes flowing smoothly in no time. DuckDuckRooter.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On June 7, 1989, Wayne Gretzky wins the NHL Hart Memorial Trophy awarded to the league's most valuable player. This was his 9th honor in 10 years.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping clients all over Florida with their construction perm loans for 34 years. Construction perm loans are not easy to find because a lot of banks and credit unions don't understand them, and therefore they don't like to do them. Well, your problem is solved. Trustline Mortgage wants to help you build your dream home. Our construction perm loans are single close, so you save money by not having to close twice, like with other lenders. Some of our construction perm loans allow you to lock in your interest rate up front. And if interest rates go down, we'll give you the better rate. We offer up to 100% VA loans, up to 96.5% for FHA loans, and up to 95% for conventional loans. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you build your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing lender. MLS number 331480. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is ready to help. If you need extra cash or a quick loan, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash in hand. They also love to buy items of value. They need gold, silver coins, and flatware, jewelry, guitars, and of course, guns.
Hey, it's Joe C., and we want to see who can challenge me and the XL Primetime Gang for the Sonny's Barbecue Rib Eating Contest, live right here at the 1010XL Studios. Text the word RIB to 641-1010 for your chance to enter in Rib Mania for America as we gear up for America's birthday. Contest will be live on air June 27th, and you can be part of all the action. Thanks to Sonny's Barbecue for providing the ribs. We just need you to see if you can beat us. Text RIB to 641-1010 for your chance to enter.
Follow the Gators as they chomp their way to the College World Series. Brought to you by Farrah & Farrah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, poker fans! Summer is upon us, and the Best Bet Summer Swing Tournament Series will be hot in June. From June 1st through the 25th, the Summer Swing will feature all 3 Best Bet locations from St. Augustine, Orange Park, and Jacksonville, with summit tournaments and guaranteed events from $30,000 up to $100,000. Catch the action starting with the Bet 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Little Prince, because today would have been his birthday?
That's right.
It's number 65.
Oh, wow.
Born in 58, as was Michael Jackson.
And you.
And me.
Oh, wow.
Who do you think is the most famous, Hayes?
Me.
Michael
sorry.
Jackson, Prince, or Frank Frangie?
Me.
The only person whose voice was in the
the answer to
stadium.
that question.
The only person whose voice was in the stadium of the future reveal?
Me.
Frank.
Sure, I think I'm way more popular than Prince or Michael Jackson. I mean, for God's sake.
In Jacksonville? Yeah. Although Michael Jackson did come here once. Did Prince ever come to Jacksonville?
No, but I was at the Victory Tour. It was fantastic.
I know you saw Michael Jackson.
It was fantastic.
See, that's the problem. If we had had this Stadium of the Future back then, Prince might have come through Jacksonville.
Good point. Well said. You're right.
Well, happy birthday to him. Obviously, we are talking about the Stadium of the Future because it was unveiled earlier today. I will say it exceeded my expectations, and I had high expectations.
Yeah, and I think it did everybody. I think it's great. So let's talk about some of the other details of it. The University of Florida campus, that's an interesting deal. I'm not sure I knew a lot about that part. I don't know that I knew. I knew Shad was buying the fairgrounds. I'll be honest, my first thought, until I was told otherwise back in the day, back when, was that they were going to knock down the stadium and build it on the fairgrounds. You had to at least think that. We had to at least, when you heard that Shad was buying the fairgrounds, that had to at least come into play, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that was what they were. I really thought it was, and I got to believe at some point it was on it was a conversation piece. But now they're talking about putting the Florida graduate school there. They talked about developing the downtown area, sort of a complex. I don't know everything that's going to go there. I know they talked about developing the east side. I know Mark talked about all the way to Brooklyn, which is cool. That's almost Riverside area. Mm-hmm. But the marina looked cool, and I'm assuming all that development's going to be all part of the Four Seasons, and it's already starting, right?
I would think.
I mean, because I think that part's already going. And Daly's place, you can see, is still there. So yeah, I again, maybe I'm naive. Again, you're going to see the members of the non-sports media, and that's whether it's print, electronic. Those that's you're going to start seeing that quickly. Whenever that stuff, members of the non-sports media are going to tell you that, and I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just telling you what I think you're going to read or watch on TV or listen on the radio, or whatever. You're going to hear that there's potholes, and that Shad's asking too much. Is that a safe assumption?
I would think.
I haven't heard any of that yet. I'm just telling you, I think where we're going to be headed now that it's out is because that's what happens, and there will be constituents of those followers that will say, yeah, I'm going to follow my local radio guy, TV guy, newspaper guy who said Shad's asking too much. But I don't think I think this is, and look, 50-50. Not every team's doing that. Now that's 50-50 for the whole complex, but I don't know that everybody else is. Remember, I think Shad's well aware of the fact that there's not state money coming here. Both Tennessee and Buffalo, by way of New York, had state money. There's no state money here, so no, I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback from this. I really, it's going to be interesting. What do you think? What kind of? You said earlier there's always resistance. Well, of course there is, but I because there's been Lot J was different. You didn't have to have Lot J. I still wish they would have done it, but you didn't have to have it. Well,
it was luxury.
It was right. It was correct. You have to have this.
Well, I think, again, anytime you try to cut corners, like what happened with Lot J, it's going to perk up investigative reporters. One way to make it very difficult, I think, for there to be a media resistance is transparency. That's usually everything a journalist wants is transparent. Now, they may ultimately not agree with what you want to do, but it doesn't raise suspicion when somebody decides to have 14 community events over the course of a month to discuss this plan. And so but yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to go through it. They're going to, they have certainly a responsibility to the citizens to, report and, and get to the bottom of everything. But I don't think there's going to be much of a getting to the bottom process with this because everything's pretty much out in the open. And again, I think this checks a lot of boxes. I mean, it brings a higher education component here with 10,000 graduate students. I mean, I think that's hard to get upset by. I mean, again, young, serious-minded people coming into your community to finish or continue their education. I mean, I think that's phenomenal. And it needs the vibrancy. That's a big component to this. Is the area needs vibrancy, and a campus is perfect. Again, particularly when it's a campus of graduate students, there's more of a sophistication there. So I mean, I think it makes all the sense in the world, and I think it's being done in a reasonable way. Again, you're going to see that there's the NFL owner component, the other owners in the league in general, is substantial. There's at least 2 committees it's got to go through before it even gets to the vote of 24 of the owners. And there could even be a 3rd committee that it's got to work through. Mark Lamping was telling us, the international committee. But there's certainly going to be 2. The finance and the stadium committees are going to have to approve it. It's then going to have to go to an ownership vote where they need 24 of the 31 they need 24 to approve it. So what you're going to see here, there's a little semantics in this. So you're going to see it be for the stadium, 60-40. City ownership, 60-40.
That's right.
Because that's what's going to carry the day in the league. The other owners, they need to see that because we have Buffalo's deal and Tennessee's deal and a couple others that are fairly recent that the league is going to compare this deal to. So the stadium is going to be 60-40, but the whole project is going to come in at 50-50. So it is going to be a 50-50 partnership for the project in its totality. But don't read it wrong when somebody who inevitably is going to report that it's a 60-40 deal. It's not for the entirety of what they're doing. It's a 50-50 project.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because it is easy to see numbers and go back to the Lot J project and go, well, but wait, they weren't transparent and I thought it was going to be this, and how does that help us? I think for the people, Frank, that you're referring to as far as worried about different areas of their community or infrastructure in their community, don't go to the huddle up meetings and ask Mark Lamping about drainage and potholes and what have you. That these meetings are about what the stadium can be and the complex downtown can be. Talk to your city council men and women about the issues, because I feel like people are going to show up and be like, wait a minute, don't use city money for that. Hold up, that's not at all what these huddle up meetings are about.
I would agree with that. I don't think, there's always one or two, but I don't think people are going to show up at the huddle up meetings and ask Mark Lamping, why does he want so much money when we need better drainage? I don't think that's a question for city government and for the councilman, to your point, in city leadership. I don't think, I'd be surprised if that's the case. And as eloquent a speaker as Mark is, I think Mark would say, I respect your opinion, respect your question. I don't think that's a question for me. I'm here to tell you what we're proposing and answer any questions about our specific proposal. I would think that's how Mark would handle that. So we'll see. Again, I think look, the Jags are smart. The city leaders who want to do this are smart. They know the resistance from, again, some in the fan base. So I say the fan base, probably not many in the fan base. Some in the populace of Jacksonville, some in the non-sports media. There will be folks that will push back and say, again, and I can't say this enough, because in every market, you go to, let's say Kansas City wants to build a new stadium. They're done with Arrowhead. They're going to move it. They're going to build a new stadium downtown in the Power and Light District. Well, let me tell you, you want me to tell you what's going to happen? They're going to agree to it. It's going to be $3 billion, okay? And the Hunt family will put up 40% of it. And the city of Kansas City is going to put up the other 60%, and there will be a lot of people excited. But there will be a radio host or a television reporter or a columnist in Kansas City who says, "How dare the Hunts ask for so much? Look how much money they have," and that's going to happen. And some of the constituents, and that's going to happen. And it's going to happen again when it goes in Green Bay. It's going to happen again in Seattle. It's going to happen. That's just the way of the world. But I think we've seen enough of that now that teams are prepared for that. And I think they've got good answers. And I think it'll get done in Kansas City and Green Bay and Seattle the same way it's going to get done here. That's my belief. We'll take a break. When we come back, Rory McIlroy had a long interview session at the Canadian Open talking about everything pretty much but the Canadian Open. That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
He's in a shotgun now.
Follow every play, interview, and press conference.
When we're balanced, it's hard for the defenses to adjust.
On the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity line of credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity credit line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey folks, you ever search why Shark Coatings is the best? Well, one of the many reasons is our polyurea. We don't just buy it from anyone who has it in stock. We custom blend ours, specializing between summer and winter blend, providing you with the best product for our area. After grinding the concrete, that polyurea will form a permanent bond at the molecular level and will not pull away like epoxy. With Shark Coatings, not only will your garage look awesome, but your pool deck, patio, or driveway will too. See how Shark Coatings can make a difference for you. Call, click, or text today.
Wrestling fans, the River City Wrestling Con will slam into the Jax Fairgrounds June 10th and 11th. This two-day event will feature appearances by pro wrestling superstars, exciting wrestling matches, and an assortment of vendors and artists. Guests include Kurt Angle, Saraya, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rob Van Dam, and many more. Get tickets at rivercitywrestlingcon.com or follow on social media for event updates. June 10th and 11th, the River City Wrestling Con at the Fairgrounds.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
We see some patients who come in and they have been in just so much pain for so long that they are just deflated.
But that's about to change because QC Kinetics provides hope for relief using all new regenerative treatments that concentrate your body's own healing properties into aching hips, back, shoulders, and knees. And Dr. Zuckerman, a medical director at QC Kinetics, loves watching the patient transformations.
One of the most amazing things is when I get to see a patient who, after a few months of our treatments, is just a completely different person. They are smiling and happy, and the weight of the world is off their shoulders because we were able to take away their pain.
And that's with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
It's just amazing to be able to change people's lives like that. It's very gratifying.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I've got a simple question. How much does a 1-carat diamond cost?
Frank, that's an impossible question to answer because a carat is only a measure of weight for gemstones. It'd be no different than me saying, I have a beautiful wife. She weighs 125 pounds, which you'd find is a ridiculous description. Diamonds are graded for 4 factors, and carat weight is only one of those factors. The others are cut, color, and clarity, and each of these factors is graded specifically and set by a certified gemologist in an accredited gem laboratory. So when you ask about a diamond's weight, we're going to tell you more than just the price. At Underwoods, we want a customer to understand how all 4 factors of diamond quality relate back to the rarity and value of the diamond. Needless to say, we all understand the value of a dollar. At Underwoods, we want our customers to know what their dollar buys in diamond value. So if you're shopping for the best, stop by Underwoods.
That's at Underwoods in San Marco, in Avondale, or at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
It's time to fire up the grill. Houston's Meat Specials of the Week. 10 pounds of fresh jumbo chicken wings, only $12.95. 2-pack pork spare ribs, only $1.99 a pound. And whole T-bone steaks at $5.95 a pound. Only at Houston's Meats, Main Street and 295.
Exciting news from Woody's Barbecue. Backed by overwhelming demand, Woody's presents their all-you-can-eat chicken special every Sunday with all the trimmings, just $12.49.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Tobacco-free Florida knows how hard it is to quit nicotine, which is why we offer different quit options to choose from for free, like 24/7 quit coaches available over the phone and free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're even experimenting with 80s pop music.
I'm giving you up, giving you up, giving I'm letting you go, I'm letting you never come back to smoke, I'll never come back to smoke, I'll never come back, I'm giving you up.
Or maybe Maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by All Weather Contractors. This morning, the Jaguars revealed details and renderings about the stadium of the future, and Jaguars president Mark Lamping met Hayes Carline, among others, and spoke about the possibility of what a 2-year plan would look like for renovations.
The least disruptive, the most efficient, and the cheapest route is to do it over 2 years and go to a stadium that you don't have to add a lot to, which would either be Florida Field or Camping World Stadium. We've had conversations with both. We've given them the specs, and I think it's fair to say that both would be interested.
Jaguars president Mark Lamping. More information at firstdowntownjacksonville.com. 88 degrees at 3:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Celebrating the music of Prince today would have been 65. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Andrew Gibson with you. Rory McIlroy, you knew, we said it yesterday, the most important thing is when Rory speaks. Well, he spoke today. You said he was going to. The defending champion at the Canadian Open, the RBC Canadian Open. Let's get right to it. You know by now, LIV and the Tour have merged. Many people didn't see that coming. Rory McIlroy allowed today that he was surprised by it.
I learned about it pretty much at the same time everyone else did. And yeah, it was a surprise. I knew there had been discussions going on in the background. I knew that lines of communication had been opened up. I obviously didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it did. But I really think that, you know, from what I gathered, the Tour felt they were in a real position of strength coming off the back of the DP World winning their legal case in London. It sort of weakened the other side's position, and you know, they went in there, and you know, the way Jimmy described it, you know, Rory, sometimes you got 280 over water and you just got to go for it.
Jimmy Dunn is who he's talking about, one of the right hands to Jay Monahan. There was a money line in there that I didn't know, and he said, I knew there were conversations going on in the background, and I knew lines of communication were open. Oh, I don't think the public knew that. Did you read here anywhere
No.
that the Tour and LIV were talking?
No.
That's why we were all so shocked yesterday. Rory said he was surprised, but then he allowed in that comment that he knew there was conversations going on. I don't know anybody in the general public that had any idea that the two sides were even considering it.
And I think most golfers would be in the camp of fans and media that had no idea either, based off of their comments yesterday on Twitter and with other reporters.
Yeah, I think so. Even though he said he was surprised by saying that he knew conversations were going on, that to me, that's the lead. Is, hey, I mean, if I'd have known 2 weeks ago, wouldn't that have been a major above the fold story that LIV and the PGA Tour have open conversations about a possible joint venture? That'd have been a huge story. And apparently, I'm not knocking Rory, but apparently he knew that story.
They obviously didn't want that to get out.
Oh, obviously.
Just like, which football team was the team that was going to hire, who now coaches Rutgers, Greg Schiano, who was going to Tennessee. Thank you. And remember, it leaked that they were going to potentially hire him,
right?
And it backfired so much on social media that they didn't end up hiring him. That's why I think they wanted to keep this so secretive.
One thing Rory says, and I think he's being a little naive here, but he said this has nothing to do with LIV.
The one thing that I think was really misconstrued yesterday was, you know, all the headlines were PGA Tour merges with LIV, and LIV has got nothing to do with this, right? I mean, it's the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and the Public Investment Fund are basically partnering to create a new company. This has gotten, you know, I think that's where I was a little frustrated, because all I've wanted to do and all I've wanted, you know, in the past year from basically this tournament is to protect the future of the PGA Tour and protect the aspirational nature of what the PGA Tour stands for. And I hope that this does that.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is the tour is in control. But to suggest that this has nothing to do with LIV, I think he's being a little naive. To your point yesterday, Hayes, the Public Investment Fund is LIV. That's they funded LIV. LIV's just a name they put on the PIF golf tour.
To me, Hayes, he was saying LIV, the way that they orchestrate their events, is not going to be associated with the PGA Tour. He wasn't necessarily separating LIV from the Public Investment Fund.
Yeah, I think the idea of LIV Golf is dead. I don't think you'll see. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a totally new entity, but I think this new entity will very much resemble the PGA Tour. And I don't think you will see signage. I think if you want a LIV Golf shirt, buy one now, because I think you're getting ready to see that brand completely disappear.
The final thing he said was what everybody's saying now is it's good for the game.
When I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at 10 years down the line, I think ultimately this is going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures it unifies it and it secures its financial future.
So here's what I'll take out of this. Now knowing more than we knew yesterday as we thought we would, I'm going to give you a take, and I think this is what happened here. LIV came around and stole a lot of good players, certainly named players. If not good players, certainly star players. There's no denying Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau for a small period were stars. Bubba Watson there, he's a star. Dustin Johnson's a star. They're star guys, and they did it with money. So they pounded money into this. Well, the tour, to counter it, came up with elevated events, right? Which in bigger purses. Well, you know what that costs? Money. I think the tour went to someone told me this today that's pretty connected in that realm, and it got me thinking, well, if the tour suddenly has elevated, it's not like the tour just had all this money it didn't know what to do with. The tour has elevated events, and the tour has bigger purses. Well, that money's got to come from somewhere. Well, I think probably they went back to their sponsor, and they said, hey, we need to bump you a little bit. And I think Goodyear said, no, I'm giving you $5 million. I didn't say I'd give you $8 million. And I think there was a financial deal there. I'm not saying the tour was in trouble financially, but I think there were some financial concerns there. Meanwhile, LIV has all the money in the world. They've got more cash. Rory pretty much said it today. They've got cash. They could keep beating us with cash. So I think the tour finally said, listen, if the PIF wants to pour all these billions into golf, why don't we let them pour it into our golf? And that's what happened. I think what happened was finally the tour said, listen, if they're going to keep pouring, they're not going to stop. And I think there was fear they were going to go get more players. I mean, it was, say what you want, it was a better collection of players that I would have thought an alternative league could have gotten. It was. And so I think they were fearful, who's in the next wave? What group players are you going to look up and Colin Morikawa's gone? Are you going to look up and the next good player, is Scotty Scheffler going? Is John Rahm going? I mean, I don't think they are, but you get the point. And I think part of it was the tour. It was about money. To your point earlier yesterday to start the program about a cash grab, it was all about. At the end of the day, Group B had a bunch of cash, and Group A probably didn't have as much cash because they spent it on elevated events and bigger purses. And Group A said, you know what? Group B's got all this cash. Let's merge with them. Let's make sure we still run it. But let's take in their cash. I think it's that simple. Rory pretty much said that today.
Yeah, I mean, the Public Investment Fund is the Saudi government. And I think that LIV was a colossal failure in terms of entertainment. The public didn't care about it at all. And they weren't deterred by that. So it's like, okay, well, we still are willing to invest several $1 billion into professional golf. But the entity we've created is not helping us. So what is there to be done? And they decided we'll buy the PGA Tour, which is exactly what they've done. And again, they're not doing this to make money. They're doing it to sports wash their reputation, which the PGA Tour has now allowed them to do through this decision. So, I'm going to be really interested in seeing, how it's presented. And I understand it, in terms of, well, if they're going to spend a bunch of money, then wouldn't we all be better off if we're somewhat in control of how that money is spent? I don't know. I think even if I think Liv would have died. I think if the Saudis had elected to pour $5-6 billion more into it, I don't think it would have mattered. It wasn't gaining traction. Now the litigation is a separate thing. I understand the millions and millions that the PGA Tour was having to put into that, but again, to me that's an easy problem. You just simply drop your litigation and say that any Liv player that is welcome to play on this tour. I still don't think it would have hurt the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour is the dominant entity in golf, and I think they would have won out. I think they could have gone in a different direction, but Jay Monahan and his team saw the dollars and pounced. And I think it's as disgusting today as I thought it was yesterday.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I totally agree on that part of it. What I find ironic is that Liv was suing the PGA Tour for antitrust, meaning the PGA Tour wanted to be a monopoly. And now that they're joining forces, they're a global monopoly. So obviously that part will go away, but some other entity probably isn't ever going to have enough funds to compete with it. But now we just have a global monopoly.
Yeah, and I agree, and I don't disagree with what you said, Hayes. If they'd have continued to battle, the PGA Tour would have still been ahead. But I don't know how much they'd have been ahead by. I mean, if Liv could have gone, what if they go get Scotty Scheffler?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
in my opinion.
But in theirs, it must have, because they did the merge. So in there, and I hear you. I'm not saying from a morality standpoint you should feel any differently. I'm thinking that what they must have thought was, what if they go do this and this and this, and they've got all this money? If we just take their money, so that must, whether you like it or not. I hear you. I hear your point, but I'm thinking that must be what they thought, and that's why they did it. There still leaves a lot of questions. I'm going to take a break and get to it, but big question, and Rory was asked this during his thing today. What about all the really good players who said no and didn't take the Liv money? Are they made whole? Why should loyal guy not have the $200 million that Mickelson and DJ and Cam Smith have, or whatever the numbers are? Does the Liv with all their billions was part of this deal? You better make those guys whole. I mean, it's a big question. You can't take away the money that already went to the other guys.
Right. It's interesting because someone asked Rory about that, and he said he was never offered money.
Yeah. Well,
so he can't come back and say, "Well, I was offered $200 million. That's what I deserve."
His first answer was the short answer is yes, and then he said he was never offered dollars. Yeah.
I find that hard to believe that Patrick Reed was offered dollars and not Rory.
Yeah, I think if Rory wasn't offered dollars, he wasn't officially offered, because he made it clear, don't offer me the dollars, which means he still was worthy of the.
Sure.
I mean, I just wonder. So my point is, they made. Let's take a break. There's more to kind of unpack here after Rory McIlroy spoke about the PGA and the Liv. Stay with us.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the best bet card rooms of Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine.
When the NBA season began, the number of people who expected Denver and Miami to play for the NBA championship would fit into a Corvette. Oh, the Nuggets were one of the favorites in the West, but wouldn't they disappoint in the postseason as always, despite having the game's best player, Nikola Jokic? No one saw the Heat doing anything in the postseason, even if they made the playoffs, which it barely did through the play-in rounds. The NBA playoffs are usually chalk, but the Heat shockingly knocked off number 1 Milwaukee, number 5 New York, and number 2 Boston. Few give the Heat much of a chance against Denver, but really, are you going to doubt it after all it's done this spring? Jimmy Butler has been working magic, and Eric Spoelstra has continued to prove he's a top coach. It is made for a great postseason, even without Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, etc.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Hey, look, if you need insurance, why don't you call the best insurance agent in town, my friend Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 888-848-9240. Really good guy, really good insurance agent. Look, you know State Farm's great. You see the commercials. It's all true. When something goes wrong, they show up and help. Well, Craig really is that guy, man. I know from personal experience, something goes wrong, he's there. He says, I got this. Take care of your family, your show. Let me take care of this. 940-9740. If you never want to worry about automotive or home or life insurance or any other kind of insurance, call Craig Dewhurst at State Farm today.
This month only, at Key Buick GMC, receive employee pricing for everyone on all 2022 and 2023 Buicks in stock and on the lot. Combine big savings with a low APR to fit any budget. We are the only Buick GMC dealership offering a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new Buick. Remember, we're the home of the no dealer markups, and remember as well to get your Buick ready for summer travel at our service headquarters. Fast and convenient. Key Buick GMC on the corner of Southside and Gate.
At Big Chief Tire, we care about your safety on the road. Frank Frangie here. We're proud to offer the best tire brands at affordable prices so you can drive safely and get more value out of your car without breaking the bank. Visit our new Orange Park location for brake repairs, tire replacement, oil changes, services, and more. Call 904-932-0950 or visit BigChiefTire.com to schedule an appointment at one of these 5 Jacksonville locations. We keep Jacks rolling.
Mike Dempsey for Dandy Foods, and happy to report that Dandy has brand new goodies out there, only available at select Gate locations. 4 delicious new lunch items to choose from: a hot roast beef and provolone, an Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth, spicy buffalo chicken, or a big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger. They're all served on fresh ciabatta bread, baked locally and delivered daily, just as you'd expect from the folks that bring you fresh, never frozen goodness.
Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you, yeah.
The First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in the orthopedic practice and physical therapy and rehab centers categories once again. For the last 29 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
He was number 55, and he's still our middle linebacker. You're gonna lose Tom McManus.
It was like he didn't know what to do.
Friday from 10 to noon, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
I'm Jeff Middlecall for Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping clients all over Florida with their construction perm loans for 34 years. Construction perm loans are not easy to find because a lot of banks and credit unions don't understand them, and therefore they don't like to do them. Well, your problem is solved. Trustline Mortgage wants to help you build your dream home. Our construction perm loans are single close, so you save money by not having to close twice, like with other lenders. Some of our construction perm loans allow you to lock in your interest rate up front. And if interest rates go down, we'll give you the better rate. We offer up to 100% VA loans, up to 96.5% for FHA loans, and up to 95% for conventional loans. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you build your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing lender. MLS number 331480. Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Picking here. After work's done for the day, I know you like to find your favorite sofa or recliner and watch the game. That's why you gotta call Zero Res this month. At Zero Res this month, tell them I sent you, and you'll get 25% off all upholstery. Zero Res.
Is your house exterior due for a wash? First Coast Home Pros has thousands of 5-star reviews for a reason. They get amazing results on even the toughest pressure washing jobs. Schedule now at firstcoasthomepros.com.
Hi, I'm Donovan Darris, former 10-year strong safety with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tackling is one of the most important techniques that you need in football, but can also be one of the most dangerous. That's why I'm hosting my 2023 Youth Tackling Technique Camps all throughout Jacksonville. And so I'm asking, if you have a child age 7 to 13, sign them up to learn how to tackle the right way and at a high level. And also, so we don't turn any kids away, sign up as a sponsor to donate $49 for the price of a child to come and participate. You can do all this at DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Crystal, COO with Remedy Staffing. As employers, labor trends continue to keep us guessing. Is the job market strong? And what is worker availability going to look like? Well, February's BLS job report indicated that we have a hot job market and that Jacksonville's unemployment rate is 2.5%, 1% lower than our national average. So if you're interested in workforce solutions and how our team can help you, please call or text me at 904-329-9802.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Whether you like it or not, the PIF are going to keep spending money in golf. At least the PGA Tour now controls how that money is spent. If you're thinking about one of the biggest sovereign wealth funds in the world, would you rather have them as a partner or an enemy? At the end of the day, money talks, and you'd rather have them as a partner.
And that was it. Money bought it. It was a money deal. So all right, so let's go to some of the issues. And Rory said, I think it was Rory who said it, in the heated meeting with Monahan, the guys that were the most angry were the guys that are fighting to keep their tour card. He said he can't relate because he's never been in that position. But what happens now? Do you bring back do you immediately bring back the live guys? You only have 125 guys. So do you immediately bring back the live guys? And if you bring back 10 to 12 of them, you just lop off the bottom 10 to 12? What happens?
I thought it was fascinating in terms of what Rory said about that, because he made it clear that these guys are not going to be welcomed back with open arms. And I thought it really stood out. He said there still has to be consequences to actions. The people that left the PGA Tour irreparably harmed this tour, started litigation against it. We can't just welcome them back. That's not going to happen. And I think that was one thing that Jay was trying to get across yesterday, is guys, we're not just going to bring these guys back in and pretend like nothing's happened. I don't know how you really do that, but I think it's going to be really intriguing to see. And yeah, I mean, I feel for the guys that are going to get pushed out, but again, that's a meritocracy. That's play
Right.
better. But I do think that how they go about, quote, punishing the live golfers that are coming back when this is a friendly purchase. I'm never going to call this a merger because it's just not. It's a purchase. And to me, the purchase is on friendly terms. You've got Jay Monahan is, the biggest Saudi, spin doctor on planet Earth right now. So I don't know how you punish the live golfers when you're basically saying publicly that it's kumbaya and the PGA Tour and the Saudis are shiny, happy people having a great time and couldn't be happier to be together.
Yeah, and finding them, to me, doesn't do anything. I mean, they've each been given now, the live golfers, hundreds of millions of dollars. So you slap a fine on them, just like when Rory was fined $3 million, I don't think that affected him. So, although he should probably be given that money back at this point in time. I think you punish them by making them earn their tour cards as if they just walked on the scene like those other guys that are fighting for theirs.
I'd be a little surprised if they do that. But what if they suspend them? What if we're now the PGA Tour? You heard us. What if it's a year suspension? Can't play an event for a year. Either.
I don't know how you could do that.
Well,
again, they're trying to avoid litigation.
But again, Rory said it's not going to be kumbaya.
I get that. I just don't know how you execute that.
Yeah, I don't know. You can suspend whoever you want, can't you? I mean, can't you suspend whoever you want to suspend? I mean, Major League Baseball and NFL could suspend whoever they want.
But the Public Investment Fund isn't going to like that, and they also now have some control.
But don't you have to believe that's been decided by now?
The way Jay Monahan spoke yesterday, it feels like nothing has been decided. And if Rory knew more, then I think he would have said, this is what's going to happen to the
Other
Live
than
Golf.
giving them horrible tee times,
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can really do.
I can't imagine that they would have announced this merge or purchase, as you put it, without having that answer. What are you just going to group Brooks Koepka with Rahm and Scheffler next week? I mean, I just – and when does it start, by the way?
Next year.
Okay, so everything – so is Liv going to play out this year?
I believe so.
Okay,
I know the PGA Tour is not changing anything until the end of 2023.
So at the beginning of next year, when the tour season starts, is it you just the Liv guys are brought right back in? Is it that simple?
I think it's going to have to be. They may not like that, and Jay Monahan may be trying to cultivate support among those that he governs by saying that, and Rory McIlroy may feel passionately about it. I don't know how you do it. You have basically absolved them through this purchase. That's what has happened. It'd almost be like two people get married and like immediately I can't even think of it, but it just doesn't make sense. This is a partnership. It's a purchase. I don't think that there's going to be contingencies like that are attached to it because the contentiousness is over through the quote purchase. So I don't know what you can do other than again petty things.
Well,
make them tee off at 7:10.
Yeah, and nobody cares about that.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think you can tell them, well, you're a member of the tour, but you're not allowed to play in these events.
Well, if that's the case, then Rory is incorrect.
I think he's incorrect.
He might just
I think it's correct now.
Yeah.
But I think in 2024, it's not going to be correct because I don't know how you go about executing it.
They left the PGA Tour. They have to earn their cards back. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You left. You physically decided and decided you signed on the dotted line with another tour.
So you go to
earn your card back.
Tour school?
Yeah.
Go to Q
Q
school?
school. I think that would be something we would all watch. Phil Mickelson, DJ, DeChambeau,
Q school?
Koepka, all in Q school. I'll watch that as long as it earns money for the
That's
PGA
a Netflix
Tour.
documentary is what that is.
That is.
It's a new entity, so it does make me wonder if okay, so what? You won the U.S. Open, and that comes with a 5-year exemption on the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour no longer exists. Again, I don't think this is going to be.
What are they going to call? What are they going to call?
Yeah,
it?
I don't think it's going to be called the
What?
PGA Tour.
The interim name I've seen is new CO, new company, new co.
But that's what you always say when there's a merge. Nuco's a standard.
Right, that's what they're just going to call it for now.
It's a widget.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, Nuco's a standard phrase.
Right.
When you're working on a performer of a merge.
So it's not going to be called PGA Tour. So maybe with that, maybe
that I would hate.
I agree, but I think it's
that,
where it's headed.
I don't think that.
I think it says it in their press release.
That it's not going to be
called? It's that it will be a new entity.
Yeah, I believe that, but I can't imagine that we're not going to have the PGA Tour. Now, I'll fight that.
Well, I don't know how they could have the PGA Tour as remaining somehow.
Well, I don't know.
The odds are that GGA, Global Golf Association, has 4-1 odds that will be the new name. The next best odds
because
are GWT.
It's a for-profit LLC.
Correct.
Yeah.
The new entity.
So it has to.
But the PGA Tour is maintaining.
All right, it's 501c6 is actually what it is.
Correct.
So
how is that different than a 501c3?
There's a lot. There's tax reasons. They're both charitable, but one's tax.
Golf
different
World
tax.
Tour is the second one.
Well, I hate that. I mean, one thing when the NFL and the AFL merged, it was the NFL. When the NBA and the ABA merged, it was the NBA. They never lost their logo. They never lost their branding. They never lost their name. They just merged, and the smaller outfit went under the name of the bigger outfit. I just assumed that's what would happen here. Apparently I'm wrong, just because the fact there's already prospective names there, and there's certainly a different IRS category to your point, but I don't like that. I want to watch the PGA Tour, not the GGA Tour.
I don't know if this is a joke or not. 1,000-to-1 odds. IARMW, standing for It's a Rich Man's World.
I want to say that's a joke. Yeah, I'm going to go out on a joke. That was what'd you tell me one time? You thought Adidas was all I do is dream about soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably a joke. I mean, but I'm not gonna. But no, no, this bothers me now. No, I don't like it. Now I don't like it. I don't know if I liked it anyway, but no, they can't change the name of it. I won't accept that. When the NHL,
you're losing your SEC music and the PGA Tour all in the same year.
When the NHL and didn't the NHL merge with the WHA? It became the NHL. I think the bigger entity,
because that was a merger.
Yeah.
This is a purchase.
And none of that money that you're talking about that was infused into those sports leagues was money from the Saudis who want to change the name of the
And the
entity.
AFL, the ABA, and the WHA didn't have more money in the existing league, and it does it. Well, that would bother me. I don't know why, but
prepare to be bothered.
That will bother me if all of a sudden it's the GGA.
Well, it's going to be.
Wow.
This will be Yasser's choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, I mean, that
WGO is another name, World Golf Organization.
Well, that's stupid.
Not to be confused with the World Health Organization.
Well, wow. How about that? Okay. See, so I get it. So then it is a purchase. Then you're right. If that's the case, it's a purchase.
Do you like PGL, Professional Golf
You know what
League?
I like? Let me tell you what I like. I like PGA Tour, or as Rory says, Tour. That's what I like.
Yeah,
Tour.
I like the way he says it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I like. So anyway, all right. So we'll see what happens. Your guess is, as we move on to other topics, your guess is, come next January, they're all in.
Yes.
They're all in, and it looks like the old PGA Tour with just some new dumb name.
Correct.
You too?
No, I think somehow, some way, the PGA Tour players that were loyal are going to ensure that the live players have to be punished in one form or fashion.
I can't imagine that you wouldn't. I can't imagine. You got your $200 million, but you're not playing until June. Something.
Keep in mind, again, Rory's like, they've done harm to this tour. This tour no longer exists. This is a brand new entity. So I don't really know how they're going to execute it.
No, I know that.
I understand the sentiment. I hope they're punished. I'd love nothing more than for the live players to be punished. I just don't know how they're going to be able to execute that because, again, this is supposed to be a friendly endeavor.
Yeah, I would sacrifice that to keep my PGA Tour. What about the new logo?
I think if
what about the logo? Can I get the logo?
I think
I'm not losing the logo and the name.
You're losing the logo.
Oh, absolutely.
That's crap.
I think if the Saudis had pulled out of it, it just said, this is silly, this isn't gaining any traction, and even though we've got all the money in the world, we're not just going to flush money down the toilet on a golf league no one watches. If that had happened, if it had folded, those players would have been under severe punishment to come back. They would have been allowed to come back. But I think at that point, they're under severe punishment.
No,
but with this being
that makes sense.
A friendly purchase, merger, whatever, I don't think there's any way you're going to be able to hold them liable for it.
And to your point, to support your point, whether I like your point or not, you got to believe Brooks and DJ and Phil had some say in this. I mean, they're the whole reason there was a live tour,
and they're gloating.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
Yeah. So
you've seen this all over the place.
They obviously haven't been told anything in terms of bad news.
Yeah.
But also, if you're them, let's say it is a 6-month suspension. Do they care?
Yeah,
the reason they
care.
joined Live was to not play as much and get a bunch of money. They'd get to relax for 6 months.
They'd care, but you're right. It wouldn't devastate them.
No,
but they'd care. They'd care. There's no doubt in my mind they'd care. They'd be the exiled 20, 30. How many went, by the way?
48 is the field.
48.
Now, some of those I think a good portion of them went from the Europe tour.
Yeah. So
how many?
30.
I would think that left
30,
the PGA
20,
Tour 16 of the 48.
Is that all it was?
I would think maybe a third.
I can almost name 15. Yeah.
Maybe 20.
Yeah, something like that. Interesting. All right, take a break. How about the NBA tonight? Have you heard the NBA plays tonight? They're headed to South Beach. Did you know that?
Yeah.
By the way, everybody that ever goes to Miami, we say they're going to South Beach. Most of them don't go to South Beach.
That's right.
Have you been to South Beach?
Yes, I have.
Have you been to South Beach?
Of course.
We'll take a break. Let's talk NBA after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Slow your scroll.
Calm down, sit down.
Follow 1010XL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward, Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Here's Linda Beaver.
We know that you have options when it comes to buying or servicing your vehicle. We also know that not all experiences are created equal. We promise when you choose to do business with Beaver, you will always get thoughtfulness about your time and hard-earned money, a team member motivated by desire to help you, and lifelong relationships with a team that cares. Pair all that with a huge selection of inventory. You can't go wrong with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We promise we're here to wow you.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Frost, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Hey, Matt Hayes, temperatures are rising, and when you have an AC breakdown, you need it repaired today. Fenwick Home Services is the expert cooling team you can trust to repair your system the same day or it's free. Fenwick is Jacksonville's always-ready cooling and plumbing team. Available 24/7, even nights and weekends with no emergency fees. Plus, Fenwick will keep your system covered with Florida's leading repair warranties. Call or book online at fenwickezbook.com.
Is your vehicle in need of some TLC? Bring it to the experts at Tire Outlet. With over 40 years of experience in 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust. Our certified technicians do the job right to get you in and out in no time flat. Hurry in for great deals on tires and automotive service. We offer free tire rotations, free brake inspections, rebate offers on brand name tires, and a legendary price match guarantee on every set of brand new tires. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Get inside intel on the PGA Tour from exclusive angles and insider access on Brunch with the Tour. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A. Tuesday morning at 8:30.
Brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation and J&M Roofing on 1010XL.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Catch a wave to the Jacksonville Sharks for their fight against the Fayetteville Mustangs this Saturday, June 10th, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Arena. With tickets as low as $15, you cannot find this kind of affordable fun anywhere else. It's Hawaiian night in the Shark Tank. Stay for the post-game auction to win our Hawaiian Sharks jerseys. Kids, 6 to 16, sign up for a chance to dance with our junior attack dance team. Shark Tank, this Saturday, June 10th, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Call 904-621-0700 or check out jacksharks.com. Fins up.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
It's time to fire up the grill. Houston's Meat Specials of the Week. 10 pounds of fresh jumbo chicken wings, only $12.95. 2-pack pork spare ribs, only $1.99 a pound. And whole T-bone steaks at $5.95 a pound. Only at Houston's Meats, Main Street and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Denver does have a timeout, but they're not using it. 4 seconds. Murray, step back, three-pointer. Won't go. Fight for the rebound. Martin, and it's over. The Miami Heat have tied the NBA Finals. What a comeback here on the road for the Heat, and it's one apiece.
Game 3 tonight between the Heat and the Nuggets, this time in Miami. Frank, what do you expect? Big game out of Jimmy Butler back at home?
I think Denver's going to beat them tonight. I think Denver's going to win in Miami.
You think they're mad because they lost for the first time in the postseason at home?
I'd say they're going to win. But I think Miami's going to win on Friday. I think Denver's going to win tonight. What do you think?
I do too. Yeah. I think this is going to be one of those series where it's just win-loss, win-loss, win-loss.
Yeah, me too.
Because I agree with you. I didn't think Miami will win the next one. I think they're going to go back to Denver 2-2.
Yeah.
So I just think Denver just has way more answers. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, for Miami to win these games, they have to make about 17 threes. I don't know that that's sustainable. They're not going to have Tyler Hero again tonight.
And how different do you think that, if he was available tonight, how different do you think that would make the Heat?
I think it would substantially change the Heat. I mean, he's a 20-point scorer. So, I mean, and obviously he's their best outside shooter. So, I mean, if Tyler Hero was in, it would make a difference for sure. I mean, he's their third best player. At worst, he's their third best player.
And this is going to sound totally illogical, and it's not like I'm some NBA guy that watches all the time. But and maybe they had a lot of guys hurt during the season, I don't know. But with Tyler Hero, clearly their third best player, 20-point scorer in the regular year, they were the 8th seed. They needed a play-in game. Once he went out, and I'm not saying it's because he went out, but sometimes something happens. A chemistry happens when everybody has to pull together for a missing guy, and they've been really good. Now, that doesn't mean he comes back, they wouldn't still be good, but you know what I mean? Sometimes something happens when a team – I can't tell you how many times in college basketball I used the Georgia Bulldogs back when I was a kid all the time, when I was a teenager. They had this great player, by far the greatest player in Georgia basketball history. Let me say it again. The greatest basketball player Georgia will ever have in its history. If they play basketball for another 100 years, Georgia will never have a better player than Dominique Wilkins. You agree with that?
I do.
They'll never have a better player. Dominique Wilkins was on that. He was the best player in college basketball, the best player in the country.
You're saying Mike White won't recruit someone better than him?
He left, kind of came out early, and the next year they went to the Final Four. They couldn't do anything, but they had Terry Fair and Vern Fleming. They had a good team.
Was Kessler?
He was later. He was later. But with Vern Fleming and Terry Fair and these other guys, they went to the Final Four under Hugh Durham because they all kind of bonded together. How do we replace Dominique?
Peyton Manning and Tennessee Vols.
Peyton Manning leaves after 4 years, and they win the national championship. It's weird how that happens sometimes. So
I think it's a great point. I think it's a big thing that Spoelstra's having to wrestle through because he keeps saying Hero isn't cleared yet. But that doesn't make a lot of sense because he broke the hand like April 16th. It should be about a 6-week injury. Again, it's a bone, not a ligament, so it's a predictable, healing injury. And
you're right.
And again, you don't worry so much about the re-injury of it.
It's not an ACL.
Correct. So it's not going to. If he were to re-break it, it's not going to affect his season next year. So I do think there's something to. We're 1-1. And to your point, we've been playing great basketball. How do we integrate him back into this? Because I think it's absolutely what they're wrestling through. And it's a really tough argument because he led him in minutes in the regular season. So this is not a role player.
Right.
He played more minutes than Jimmy Butler did in the regular season.
Correct.
And he's a consistent scorer. He's not one of these guys that's 27 one night, 6 the next. He's consistently between 15 and 25 points. So I think he's reliable. But obviously, they've had these unbelievable contributions from role players. Well,
Gabe Vincent's been unbelievable.
He's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Strus has been
up and down.
Had moments of greatness, but he's also had stretches where he's poor.
Thank you, Gabe Vincent, by the way.
Yeah. And so I do think it's a difficult decision. If it were me, if I was Spoelstra, I would rather play my best guys and lose than lose and not having played my best guys.
Yeah, well, and
right. But again, they obviously have to make that call. And if Spoelstra feels like my best team is the team that has been out there for the last 2 months, it's hard to go against.
Yeah, if he was totally healthy, you got to believe he'd be in there. He may not play the minutes he was playing. He may not even start the game. But if Tyler Hero was totally healthy, and Spoelstra was convinced he was, he'd be in there some. So we'll see. I think I said this after game 1. I didn't realize how good Denver is. They're big. I mean, Jokic is so good. Gordon is big and physical, and Porter is a 6'10" guy that can shoot like a guard when he's right. And Murray is one of the real good scorers in the league, and they have so many good players. I mean, KCP and Brown. Again, I didn't know these guys. I didn't follow it. But they have a good team.
Third best, probably. KCP, third best Georgia basketball player?
Yeah, probably. Jeff Green still got something left. He's still there. There's still a little there, So, they have a good team. So I'm telling you, we'll talk about Loser Monday in a second, but they have guys that can go off. If it becomes a track meet, then Butler's got to score 40. Yeah. If it's a track,
and even that may not be enough.
Right. Miami needs a dirty game. They need an ugly game, don't they? Miami needs.
That's how they play.
Yeah. Miami needs a defensive-minded, lot of loose balls, low shooting percentage game. That's the game they'd have to win tonight or any night against Denver.
Yeah, I think so. I think Denver is clearly the more talented team, and really should have won game 2. If not for just an unbelievable collapse and a tremendous job by Miami. Again, they shot almost 70% from the field in the fourth quarter. That's incredible. It's the third highest percentage in the last 25 years. So they did something remarkable, and they deserve credit for that. But I get the sense that from the first 2 games of the series that Denver is by far the best team. Denver's had moments where it almost feels like they're toying with Miami. Miami, I haven't felt that way at all. I think everything Miami has gotten, they've had to scrap for. Denver gets so many things easy because of how well they pass it. And, yeah, I think it's going to be really tough. So I think Denver probably wins. It'll be a good game, but I think Denver probably wins tonight. I hope Miami wins Game 4. I think they will. And I think it's 2-2 going to Denver, and Denver probably wins that. And then they come back to Miami for Game 6, and Miami wins that. And we have a great Game 7 that Denver probably wins.
That would be fun, especially like Frank said, for Loser Monday purposes. It's funny how the conversation was all about the altitude, in Denver and all that going into the first game. I don't think it really affected Miami one way or the other in either game. I think, like you said, the Nuggets just completely outplayed them Game 1 and came up just short Game 2 thanks to Murray missing that 3.
Maybe the Nuggets went out last night at South Beach. Could that have done it?
They might have done that.
Well, they won. Yeah. Have you ever stayed in South Beach?
No. I went for like a couple nights. Yeah. But not for any.
But you stayed more in town. But you stayed in town.
Yeah, and this was like 25 years
You didn't stay on the beach.
I did not.
You ever stay on the beach?
No, I stayed in, I think, Coral Gables.
We stayed in, when I went down there with my buddies Ben Balky and John Farrell, just went down to see the Pirates Marlins, play golf for 3 days. We stayed in a condo right on South Beach, right in the middle of stuff. Dumbest decision of all time. It never stops. Boom, 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 boom. That's what it sounded like at 8 o'clock, midnight. Boom, 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 boom.
The bar stay open until 6 a.m. I know that.
4 a.m. Boom, 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 boom. It never stopped. Finally, you look out, and the window was like right over the ocean. Finally, I looked out the window, and that little condo I had, boom, 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 and it was packed. 4:15, 4:20. I didn't know that you just said that, but it makes sense now you said it because they were 4:15, 4:20, packed. Looked like Times Square at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and I'm like, great. The good thing is I don't have to sleep here again until tomorrow night. So we did too. So there's that. Let me give you Loser Monday. The way it works like this. Andrew Gibson has Jokic, Vincent, and Lowry. I've got Bam Adebayo, Porter, and Brown, both from the Nuggets. Lauren has Jamal Murray, Caleb Martin and KCP. Hayes has Jimmy Butler, Aaron Gordon, and Tyler Hero, who has not played, as you know. That's who we have. The scores are like this. Gibby's kind of running and hiding now. 57 his first game, 73 his second game, 130 points for Gibby. He should
I'll take
be
the
safe.
red plate, please.
I went 50 and 37 for 87 points. I'm ahead. I'm comfortably ahead of Lauren and Hayes, but I don't think I'm out of danger. Lauren went 36 and 27, 63 total points. Hayes 29, 33, 62. So our points are 130 for Gibby, 87 for me, 63 for Lauren, 62 for Hayes. So Gibby is Gibby is 43 clear of me and 60 some odd clear of them. I am 24 clear of Lauren and 25 clear of Hayes. What do you think? I don't think I'm safe.
I don't think you're safe either. I think it comes down to
Gibby's safe.
Gibby is safe. The first thing is, do we see Tyler Hero in this series? If we don't, I'm going to lose. If Tyler Hero doesn't play tonight but comes back game 4, okay, then it may be a little different. So,
are you still going to lose if Caleb Martin continues to look like a bad G League player?
Yeah, he's
been ill.
I don't think that's gonna
very ill.
I don't think that's gonna continue. I don't know that he'll play like he did against Boston, but I can't expect to play a man down and survive.
You took the ultimate gamble.
Yeah. Well, I thought he'd play in the series, and now obviously it looks like he may not. And so, yeah, I mean, to me, if you were to tell me Tyler Hero's going to play, and I'll get 3 games out of him, I think it's between you and Lauren. But if he doesn't play, I mean, I honestly don't see. Jimmy Butler would have to do something spectacular, and Aaron Gordon would have to even elevate what he's doing, which is what he's doing is what I expected. I think for me to survive playing basically a handicap match.
I think if Butler or Murray don't have a 35-plus game, I think I'm safe. I think that's my danger. I think if neither one of those guys have one of those stupid games, I think I'm safe because I think Bam Adebayo is going to get me to 16 to 20, and the rest of them are what they are, and I've got a little bit of a lead. My concern is, I told you guys this the other day, Butler, we just went for 51 in the playoffs. I think Murray's had a 40-point game in the playoffs. My guy's not getting that. Adebayo is my best guy, and his good game is going to be 25. Now, his bad game is going to be 16, 18, so he's going to be in there. But there's no 40-point game in Bam Adebayo. Right. He just doesn't have that. So you guys have the scoring potential. But we'll see. We'll be locked in. Brooks, you be locked in tonight? Or are you going to go to bed? Will you lock in?
No, I'll be locked in, and then I'll wake up early.
Wake up early? How about you? Locked in?
Oh, locked in, absolutely.
That's right. What time you got to get up tomorrow?
I have to be here at 7, so
yeah. Tell me about the show tomorrow. I'm looking
6
forward.
a.m.
You, Tommy, and Mia?
Yeah, so Mia will be doing 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., just
okay.
her
right.
and ET. And then Tom McManus and I will roll in like Dan Hicken normally does.
Okay.
And
will you say you know it?
Them from 7 to
Who's
9.
in charge of the you know it?
I feel like that's a Tom McManus.
Okay.
I feel like that's got to be, his booming voice.
Okay. What about that?
So, yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be
fun.
Thursday and Friday because both Dan and Jeff are off the next 2 days.
Yeah, well, I do think what we ought to do, Hayes, this is up to you and Gibby. I'm not going to overrule you on this. But I think since Lauren's only working in the morning, we should prank call her. Remember prank calls? You ever prank call someone? I think we should prank call Lauren.
Few things.
Like about every 20 minutes, call it, not tell her who it is.
Are hilarious.
We should prank call her.
I have a cell phone that tells me who it is.
See, you don't want to ruin prank calling.
Otherwise, ET's answering. So good luck.
Caller ID ruined prank calling. Really? Okay? Because prank calling was phenomenal. We should prank
great.
call. I think just for kicks, we prank. Let's find another phone that she doesn't recognize the number, and let's prank call Lauren.
I
like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You want to do that? I think it's a great idea. Gibby, you in?
Let's do it.
Yes. Okay.
By the way, I don't have to be locked into the game tonight.
You're comfortable.
I'm pretty comfortable here.
Okay.
Have you watched the first 2?
No, I have not. I've been following just the stats. That's all I really cared about.
You're not even living and dying with every shot like I am.
I'll be watching just a little scroll thing that says, for example, Jokic makes a 25-foot jumper.
Yes. Gibby, who are you rooting against?
I'm rooting against you, Frank. You haven't lost in like decades.
But see, I think you should root against Lauren.
Yeah.
Because if Lauren loses,
Please don't inspire that.
Then she's only one loss behind you.
That is true.
It's all about avoiding the hat.
And it's always more fun when Lauren loses.
No, it's not. No,
Fun for
everyone likes
us.
when Frank loses. That's what I hear on the streets
I can't
of
remember what
Jacksonville.
it's been like when Frank loses.
We'll take a break. When we come back, let's reset it. The stadium was revealed, the rendering. It's going to be just gorgeous today. A few more comments coming from Mark Lamping's interview with Hayes and some others today. What does it mean? What's it going to look like? What does it mean for our city? How long will it take? Some of the variables. We'll reset it and talk Jaguar Stadium after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
That's a great team effort out there.
Because sports are life.
Y'all played your hearts out. I'm proud of you.
1010XL.
Good job.
Hey, folks, Nimnik for Life is here. Buy your next pre-owned vehicle with confidence and peace of mind at Nimnik, because Nimnik Chevrolet now offers a lifetime engine and powertrain warranty on qualifying pre-owned vehicles, and that includes 1 year free maintenance. Nimnik for Life keeps you on the road and worry-free. Now look, Nimnik has more than 300 certified pre-owned and used vehicles to choose from. And at Nimnik Chevrolet, every vehicle includes a detailed vehicle history report. You can visit nimnikchevy.com to see the complete inventory, shop by payment, and even get your trade value in seconds. But right now, it's Nimnik for Life, and it's here now. Your next pre-owned vehicle, you can have it with confidence and peace of mind. Head to Nimnik today, won't you? That's Nimnik. Your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevy. Find new roads.
Father's Day is coming up, and what better way to show your dad you care than with a gift from Woodcraft? Whether he's a diehard football fan or a golf enthusiast, we have the tools and supplies to help him create something he'll love. From personalized signs to custom golf club holders, the possibilities are endless. Plus, our experts are always here to help you with any project. So don't drop the ball this Father's Day. Head over to Woodcraft today. Woodcraft, the home of champion dads.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Business owners, regular maintenance of your storm drains is crucial for preventing parking lot floods and protecting your property from damage. Give Duck Duck Rooter a call today and schedule service with our VACCON team. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
The game of golf has never been more popular, and Hidden Hills Golf Club welcomes everyone. You'll love our friendly staff and fantastic golf course. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com or give us a call at 620-0910.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Quitting nicotine isn't easy, which is why Tobacco Free Florida offers free tools and services like free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're also trying out music to help motivate smokers to quit.
Not another cigarette would be late. Now there's someone living tobacco free. It's you.
Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. They were fantastic in setting up my car loan. I've never had a bad experience, and I've banked with them for years. I trust First Florida Credit Union. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the New Durban location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
The promotions are kicking off the summer heat in June, and we're paying out over $575,000 this month. Catch all the action from early bird high hands at Best Bet Orange Park to $500 Fridays and Table Super Share Tuesdays at Best Bet Jacksonville. And don't miss out on daily tournaments, including the inaugural Best Bet Summer Swing Series from June 1st through 25th. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. These intense summer storms are a good reminder to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Check out Pella's new Hurricane Shield and Defender series. These amazing windows exceed all coastal requirements for storm protection. Seriously, they can withstand the impact of a 2x4 shot out of a cannon at 50 feet per second. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway right next to Tesla. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 11. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 and weekends. That's Bellwether downtown.
Borland Groover is expanding in St. Johns County. Look for the new Advanced Surgery Center and Medical Facility open in Durbin Crossing in the summer of 2024. Learn more about it at borlandgroover.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Andy's Automotive and Truck Service, LLC. The uproar has been worldwide between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf partnering together. What does Rory McIlroy think of the partnership?
When I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at 10 years down the line, I think ultimately this is going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures it unifies it and it secures its financial future.
Rory McIlroy speaking to media earlier today at the Canadian Open. The Jaguars released some renderings today of the future stadium. You can find out more at firstdowntownjacksonville.com. 88 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Here, that means it's time for more football. Football at 5.
5 o'clock somewhere.
On the Frangie Show.
One hour to go in the program. Glad you're with us as we continue along on this Wednesday installment. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson. Celebrating Prince today on what would have been, his 65th birthday? Is that what
65th.
Yeah.
You know what this
Genius
performance was?
This from the Super Bowl, right?
It is Super Bowl in Miami.
Yep.
Regarded as maybe the best Super Bowl halftime ever.
One of the great performances of all time, Prince.
Certainly one of the best albums ever.
Yeah, no question about that. Today, the Jaguars unveiled their renderings for what the new stadium will look like, done by HOK, the premier stadium architect and builders really in the country. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. My first thought when I saw it is that it looks like SoFi. It looks like the stadium in Los Angeles. Probably not quite as big. It won't cost as much because there was already a stadium here and it's a renovation. But it truly looks like that. There's a roof but not sides. It's spectacular. It will be done, according to the proposal, in conjunction with development of the east side, development of the fairgrounds that will become a graduate campus for the University of Florida. It looks like to me, they didn't discuss it a lot today, but the development of the marina area where the JOI Center is going to go and the Four Seasons will presumably go will all be part of this whole build-out, make it a complex in a community area. Hayes, you were there today with Mark, but essentially 1.415 for the stadium, $1.4 billion for the stadium, and another $500 million or so for the build out, a $2 billion renovation if you include all of it. The 1.5 or so billion for the stadium would be a 60-40 split between the city, 60 city, 40% of that would be shod. But by the time it's all built out, it would be a 50-50 deal. And that's and you made a great point earlier. you have to show 60-40 for the stadium because that's what the NFL will approve. They're
Correct.
not likely to approve a 50-50.
And they don't really, to be honest, care is not the right word, but they're not going to be hung up on what else is going on beyond the stadium,
That's
because
correct.
that's the part of the revenue sharing component is the stadium. So
That's right. That's 100% correct.
and that's what's going to be the precedent that's going to be further set, that this deal will set for future owners that engage in stadium talk. So it's a beautiful stadium. I mean, again, the biggest complaints are not complaints, but in the fan survey was we want cover and we want more space in the concourses, and this accomplishes all of that.
And while visiting with members of the media today, Mark Lamping said it is important to have a split between the team and the city.
We want to get to 50-50. So what we've discussed with the city and what's contained in this memorandum of understanding is we get to 50-50, but the city's probably more of their 50% is going to have to go in the stadium.
Because that's what the owners have to.
Because that's what the league's going to look at. And more of Shad's 50 is going to have to go into the development around the stadium. And when you combine them, you get to 50-50.
And the other part of that is there's a belief that you have to develop downtown. I've said this before. I don't think there's any way Shad's going to put that money into that stadium without making sure the surrounding areas are up to speed too. And Mark Lamping says you have to make that downtown area better.
It needs to be more than just a stadium. You're not going to get all these other events if you don't have the type of entertainment activity for fans to do before, during, and after events. And getting beyond, I don't want to go too far down this path, but if you really believe that downtown development is really important, and that if your vision of downtown is like you would see in other cities that have vibrant downtowns, they're economic engines. They generate revenue, and that revenue then is spread across the entire community, particularly into underserved areas. That's one of the real problems we have right now, because downtown is not that economic engine, which it should be, but it can be.
And to that end, Mark and his team, the Jaguars team, will have 14 huddle-ups, they're calling them. They're town hall meetings at various areas of town where they will take and explain what they're doing to the public. And you'll be able to ask questions. You'll have details, and that's going to happen really all over the town 14 different times, so you will know what your council person is voting for. That's what you will know. As I said all along, and I'll beat this horse till it's dead, I suppose, there will be pushback from those who aren't as sports-minded, or for those like you have in every community. Why are my taxpayer dollars having to support this when we have the billion-dollar owner? That happened everywhere. It happened in Nashville. It happened in Buffalo. It happened a few years back in Indianapolis. It happened in L.A. It happened in Vegas. You're always going to get this. So I'm preparing you for the pushback from fans, people on social, people in non-sports media. I'm preparing you now that you're going to hear that the Jags are asking too much, and we have the potholes to fix, and shame on the Jags, and shame on Shad, and the city shouldn't do. I'm just telling you, every city in America, you're going to get pushback from people in the populace. The ones where the pushback win, the team leaves town. Again, this one area, and Hayes, I have said this from the get-go, there's no gray area in this one. If not, there's plenty of good cities without an NFL team that would love to have one. So this deal will get done. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to have a stadium deal. I'm not worried about it at all. And I also know there will be pushback based on it. I think that's going to happen. The good news is we're going to have this stadium. I think it'll get done. I think it'll get approved by the mayor's office. Mayor-elect Deegan, I think, certainly understands the criticality of this. I think the 19-member city council, many of whom are new, went in understanding the importance of it as well.
No doubt about it. My confidence is high because I think it's a good, sound plan. I mean, again, what were the obstacles? Okay, well, the first obstacle is improving the stadium. They've done that. They've done it with cover from the heat and from rain. They've done it with wider concourses, 32 new escalators, 13 new elevators. I think it's going to be elevated, which is going to create some amazing views when you're in the stadium. So the stadium itself is going to be immaculate. And again, the fact that they're able to renovate as opposed to a new build saves $1 billion off of the project. I think then you go to the real catalyst to all of making sure there is a vibrant area around the new stadium. And I think it starts with this Florida satellite campus, University of Florida satellite campus, which Mark Lamping, told us, it was me and a few local reporters. That's a 10,000 student body of graduate students.
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of, if you want your city to grow, you couldn't ask for a better demographic. These are motivated young people that are continuing their education, that obviously are, ambitious, career-minded, and that is going to create so much activity on that campus in that area to help support the other infrastructure that is going to come, and it's going to start firing up those economic engines that Mark Lamping is talking about. And when those engines are firing, the community benefits because more money is available for all the areas.
I think today is a celebration. It's a celebration that 3 years worth of research and study went into this, and they were able to meet with HOK and come up with something that beautiful. And it's a celebration that our city is taking the next step forward. Hopefully, like to your point, Frank, you're optimistic. This is just the beginning of what's going to be a major improvement for downtown Jacksonville. And that's huge. That means the city will continue to thrive. The stadium is absolutely gorgeous. And I know some people are sad the pools are leaving. Don't be sad. The way that they've transformed both end zones is incredible. And the video boards will still be there. It is going to be a fantastic celebration of Jacksonville and of the Jaguars.
Yeah, and I think it'll get done. I'm not sure when this actually goes into Mayor-elect Deegan's budget, when it's approved. Was there any talk about timing of when this will get in front of the governmental folks?
I think that process is somewhat started in terms of conversations. I think October is sort of the first deadline in terms of it'd be nice to kind of have the wheels in motion.
Yeah. Legislation has to be presented. Then there's a 6-week window for discussion, and then can be voted on. It could be longer than that, but there's a minimum here of 6 weeks once legislation is introduced by somebody either from city leadership, the mayor's office, or the city council. So I guess, you think, October would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think October is a comfortable time because, for a variety of reasons. That's not like a drop dead deadline.
No.
But I think that's a comfort.
As early as.
Yeah.
And remember, because of the agreement, the existing contract between Florida and Georgia, which goes through 25 maybe now with the extended year? Is it?
Yes, 24 and 25.
Yeah, so I don't think they're not breaking ground till after that.
Correct. So the goal is for the stadium to be built and all of it to be built in the 26 and 27 year.
Yeah,
then the first season with the new renovated stadium would be 2028.
And I think the plan will be that if they do the 2-year plan. And again, for people that haven't followed along, and many of you have, there are a number of options, okay? But the two options that I think are the most prominent, well, there's two options in terms of time. 2 years, the team vacates, comes back and it's ready, or 4 years, but and the team continues to play because you stop during the season, but it takes longer and costs almost $200 million more. So I think I would imagine the team prefers the 2-year option. I have said from day one, I think you have too, Hayes and Lauren, that they're better off with the 2-year option. Go play in Gainesville and Orlando or somewhere. So, and while there's talk, and more talk even today, about adding 30,000 seats to Hodges Stadium at UNF, adding that kind of seats to the baseball grounds, adding seats, you were talking about earlier, or doing something different with the grass at Daytona. I don't think any of those are in play. I think they looked at Hodges Stadium and the baseball grounds, number one, to see, Number one, I think he told you guys today $125 million it would cost just to get one of those stadiums playable.
Correct.
$100 million to rent it for 2 years. That's a big rent. Okay.
And to add what, Hayes, 20,000
Right.
seats to either one?
Yeah.
So it's
So I don't think those are in play. I think a stadium that's ready to host an NFL game, which means Orlando or Gainesville. I think at the end of the day, there's really two options. I'm counting Orlando and Gainesville as one. But option 1, 4 years and play while you do it, like they did in Miami. Or option 2, do it quickly in 2 years and go play in either Orlando or Gainesville. I don't think there's another option. I think those are two. I hope they land what they move for 2 years, so this stadium is done sooner. For me, I hope that you know what, and just selfishly, I'm 64. I want more years in that new stadium that I'm calling the games. I hope I'm calling the games for a while, but I want to see it done more quickly. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait 4 years. I don't want to wait till 2030 to call a game in that new stadium. So I hope the sooner it gets done, in my opinion, the better. But that is where you'll see pushback, because there are fans, good, honest, paying fans who have earned their stripes and have been really loyal to that team that have said, "Gosh, I don't want to have to go away for 2 years." What I would tell them is, I get that, but look how much sooner you'll have that unbelievable stadium, and look how much sooner your viewing experience will be better.
Yeah,
way better.
And it's not like they're going to Provo, Utah to play these games.
Correct.
They're going literally 80 minutes down the road.
If it's Gainesville, if it's Gainesville from where you live, not counting traffic, because you're going to have traffic either place. But if it's Gainesville from where you live, it's probably, if you can hear me now, you are either an hour and 15 from that stadium or as much as 2 hours from that stadium, but no more. If you can hear me now, you're no farther than 2 hours from that stadium. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
That's the longest.
And I just think it's financially, it's just irresponsible to tack $190 million more onto the project solely to play the games in Jacksonville.
Right, that's right. And there will be some rent of those two stadiums, but it's not $200 million.
No, and Florida may not even have any rent.
Well,
I mean, they'll probably have to cover their costs.
Yeah.
But if they're giving Florida all of this for a satellite campus,
right,
you'd like to think that one hand washes the other.
I'll stand my ground. Gainesville is the place to be, and it is not, listen to me, it's not because I went to school there and I am a Gator fan and I am a rampant Gator fan, but it's not because of that. I'd say the same thing if Florida State was in Gainesville and it was an hour and a half away. It's easier than going to Orlando traffic, artificial turf, all the chat. I don't want the chatter. Oh, the Orlando Jags. Well, they're never going to be the Orlando Jags because that's not even going to happen until there's a new 20, 30-year deal, but you still have to hear the chatter. I don't want the chatter. And so with Gainesville, there's no chatter. Go down there and play for 2 years. Come on back up here, and that's what I hope they do. We'll take a break. More in a moment. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
The heat is hard to beat.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
1010XL, your cure for the summertime blues.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Kingfish was just out at my house for termite protection. They do such a fantastic job. And with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the AFC South champion, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Want a low down payment and a low monthly payment on your next ride? Then you've got to go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here. Right now, you can buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 a month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 a month. With over 400 used in stock plus more than 100 vehicles under $18,000, don't wait. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
wrestling fans. The River City Wrestling Con will slam into the Jax Fairgrounds June 10th and 11th. This two-day event will feature appearances by pro wrestling superstars, exciting wrestling matches, and an assortment of vendors and artists. Guests include Kurt Angle, Saraya, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rob Van Dam, and many more. Get tickets at rivercitywrestlingcon.com or follow on social media for event updates. June 10th and 11th, the River City Wrestling Con at the Fairgrounds.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Sports fans, this is David Garrard here. And if you're suffering from orthopedic soreness, make an appointment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where everyone is treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, it's Joe C., and we want to see who can challenge me and the XL Primetime Gang for the Sonny's Barbecue Rib Eating Contest, live right here at the 1010XL Studios. Text the word RIB to 641-1010 for your chance to enter in Rib Mania for America as we gear up for America's birthday. Contest will be live on air June 27th, and you can be part of all the action. Thanks to Sonny's Barbecue for providing the ribs. We just need you to see if you can beat us. Text RIB to 641-1010 for your chance to enter.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Spicklemeyer Insurance Agency. I was paying too much for car insurance, paying for things I didn't need. My friend John Spicklemeyer fixed all that for me with impeccable customer service. For all your car insurance needs, call John at 471-7155.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
I got some stories. I hope I'm not stealing Lauren's news and notes, but I've got stuff I haven't got.
You probably are, but it's okay.
I probably am. Did you see what the Pac-12 is going to do?
Kinda, I think.
This is tremendous.
They want a grant of rights, but they don't have a TV deal yet.
They don't have a TV deal, but they want to do a grant of rights. And it's smart because the ACC is so happy with theirs.
Yeah.
What they're doing is, but they're doing the same thing the ACC, if they do it, and it looks like they're going to do it.
They verbally agreed on it.
All was there 10? How many schools are left? 10?
10.
Yeah.
The 10 schools have agreed.
Can we call it the Pac-10 again? I love the Pac-10.
I'd rather.
But they're saying, okay, let me tell you why I get a chuckle out of it. If you've all agreed to stay, then why do you need it? Right? Why do you? If you've all agreed, we're sitting around, we're going to sit around the campfire and sing "Kumbaya" and love each other and stay together forever. Why do you need the grant of rights?
That would be like a prenup.
Yeah,
you don't ever actually need a prenup if you're going to stay married, but it doesn't always go like that.
I guess good point. That well said. And why would Oregon and Washington sign it?
I don't get that
if
at
it's
all.
obvious that the Big Ten at some point is coming to get you. Why would you sign it? Just say no. I'm not signing. What's the Pac-12 going to do, or whatever they're called, if you don't sign it? What are they going to do? Kick you out? News bulletin. They're not kicking Oregon and Washington out. So, no, we're not going to sign it. You got to sign. No, I'm not going to sign it. You got to sign. No, I'm not going to sign it. Well, I mean, do you think Clemson and FSU would unsign that bad boy if they could?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
And 5 more.
So why would
magnificent schools?
Yeah. So why would Washington and Oregon? Why would you sign it?
Well, I mean, I think it's idiotic to sign it. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what Oregon and Washington are thinking. The only possibility is, are they frustrated that the Big Ten is maybe dragging their feet a little bit more than what they would like to add them? And so they're trying to increase the Big Ten's motivation to say, you know what, we need to go now get Oregon and Washington before they actually enter into this agreement and are basically off the board. Either that, or maybe the Big Ten just simply is saying, does it really help us to add, are we going to be creating enough revenue to add Oregon and Washington? Yes, it helps us from a travel standpoint with USC and UCLA to add a couple more schools out west, but in the end, does it make us more money, or would we be better off seeing if the ACC schools can break their grant of rights, and would we be better off with Florida State, Miami, Georgia Tech, North Carolina?
But my point is back to Oregon and Washington. Unless, and I could say this, is there some way the other 8 schools, or however many, could vote to give them a lesser share if they don't sign it? I mean, is there, and I don't know that answer, but is there leverage they have over those? Hey, if you don't sign this thing, then we we have the right, based on our contract, to vote you to a lesser share. I'm guessing here, but unless there's not a leverage play that the others have over that, why would they sign it? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, the only answer I can come up with is their meetings were in Las Vegas, and maybe the Pac-12 commissioner got them all drunk and had them agree to it. I mean, there really is no reason, after watching everything that the ACC has gone through, and they don't even have a media rights deal, but I think that's really the answer. They believe this will get them closer to a TV deal if they have shown that there is unity and that no one else is leaving, because people have been worried about Colorado going, and people have been worried about Arizona going, and like you said, Oregon and Washington.
All right, second question. Florida State plays Oklahoma tonight in the finals of the Women's College World Series. If it was Florida, I would be locked in. Would you?
Of course.
I would be. Well, I mean, it's softball. I'm not a big softball fan, but I would be locked. I
watched Florida play softball.
Me too. When they played UCLA and a couple years back, I would be locked in watching it. And
I'll still pay attention tonight.
You will?
Yes. To root against FSU.
So if it was Florida, would you watch it? Did you watch it when they did?
I think I
played
did,
UCLA?
Because I like watching
Hannah,
softball because of how fast
Hannah
it
Nelson,
moves.
or remember the pitcher? Stacy Nelson.
I think they had
Stacy Nelson and Hannah. I mean, but I was locked in. I was locked. I think it was Stacy Nelson.
I don't know that I was locked in, but I remember watching it and being entertained by it. Because again, softball moves really fast.
Yeah, and I was
Stacy Nelson and Hannah Rogers.
Stacy Nelson and Hannah Rogers. Those were the names. I was locked in, and So I'm wondering, is Florida? But I'm not a Florida State fan, so I can't speak for the FSU fans. But and I wonder if the FSU fans are. Rick,
yes,
I think they're really excited.
And you should be.
Yeah.
Rick, I think Blue's coming in, right? Blue would watch it because Cindy, his girlfriend, went to Oklahoma, and Rick went to FSU, so they should have some fun with it. But I mean,
I don't know if he'd watch the softball without her watching it.
Well, I'll ask him.
But yeah,
but I would think FSU fan, this is kind of a big deal. I mean, you're playing for the championship of what I believe is after football, basketball, and then baseball. It's the best one. It's the best college sport. It's the most talked about. Maybe women's basketball is more so.
I think only recently has women's basketball come more into the forefront. Like this past year, way more than any other.
But I would be locked and loaded and locked in on this thing. So I really would. I won't watch it much because I'm not a Florida State or an Oklahoma fan, and it would take my team being in it. I've been honest about that.
Sure.
That golf was so much fun to watch a couple weeks ago or last week. It was
Had Florida
so
State beat
much.
Florida, you wouldn't have watched.
Right.
Yeah.
That golf was so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch when we were playing Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But if it hadn't been Florida, I wouldn't have been watching. I'd be lying if I said I would have even peeked at it if it
Sure.
wasn't.
Tonight is interesting because Oklahoma has like a 50-game win streak, something along
Yeah,
those
I didn't know
lines,
that.
and
Right.
Florida State has won like 33 of the last
Yeah.
35. So both teams are powerhouses in the sport, and so if you're looking for something to watch other than the NBA Finals, like Case just said, softball is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
It goes fast.
So Noel fans lock in tonight. I mean,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
if it was the
I
Gators,
think they are.
I would definitely be locked in. So final thing, now that I steal all your notes.
No, don't worry, you didn't.
DeAndre Hopkins is talking to the Titans. I don't want
Okay,
that.
now you did.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want that.
I don't want that either.
I really don't want that. I listen. The Jags have the best team in the division, and I think the Jags are going to win the division, and I'm confident of that. But I don't think the Titans are as dead as other people think they are. They've got a wonderful defensive tackle combination, including one of the best in the league. Derrick Henry, there's still something left there. Ryan Tannehill's an average player, but he's a veteran player. And if you give him a veteran receiver to join him, who's a really good player, certainly has been, I don't like it. I want this one not to happen. I will tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I am surprised that this is his first visit. It does make
me too.
wonder if I haven't watched DeAndre Hopkins play football in a couple of years because he's been in Arizona. I haven't had him on any fantasy team, so I've had no individual reason to watch him. And Arizona hasn't been in prime time a lot. So I'm not going to watch Arizona Cardinal football games very often. So maybe, I don't know, maybe these GMs that obviously are very up to date on where he's at in his career, maybe the teams that you thought would be the real front runners, the Chiefs, the Bills, Dallas, maybe they view him as a player that just isn't the same. Because it does surprise me that Tennessee is the first one, and likely if they play their cards right, where he will sign. It surprises me because it's not a great fit for him in terms of everything that you said about the quarterback. Are they really going to win? But, I mean, he's talked about, even Houston. So it makes me wonder if, DeAndre Hopkins is way more name than game, as Pete Prisco likes to say.
Could be.
At this point, I'm not saying Pete said that about this player.
But I hear you. Maybe one or two.
Yeah, is the game just not at the level it once was?
All the Buffalo and Kansas City predictions don't seem to have much merit right now, do they?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I still don't want him in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, me same.
But
a veteran guy with a veteran quarterback, I don't want to see it.
I had forgotten that they know each other from the Texans organization.
I did too. Let's take a break. When we come back, Lauren wraps the program with news and notes, the ones I didn't get to. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NHL Stanley Cup Finals continuing on Thursday night in South Florida as the Florida Panthers host the Vegas Golden Knights in Sunrise. Vegas has dominated this series, leading 2-0, putting up 12 goals so far this series. They took Game 2 on Monday by a 7-2 score. Vegas getting a goal and a half on Thursday night, minus 245 on the puck line. Florida plus 198 minus the goal and a half. On the money line, Vegas plus 102, Florida minus 122. The over-under Thursday night, 5.5. I'm Tony Desiri on 1010XL, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Duck Duck Air Conditioning, a division of Duck Duck Rooter, is looking for experienced and dependable HVAC services technicians to join our growing team. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is committed to delivering the highest level of service to our customers. Successful candidates will be hard-working, dependable, possess strong problem-solving skills with at least 2 years of HVAC experience. Ready to get to work? Please visit our website at duckduckac.com and click on the careers page. We look forward to hearing from you. That's duckduckac.com.
Duck Duck AC is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Remember when you were going to get that pain fixed this year? Well, the year is almost halfway over, and if you're still dealing with that pain, enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today at 904-274-5522. Set up a free consultation in Mandarin or Ponte Vedra. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. You can do all those summer activities you love. How do they do it? By taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint. Your tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. You can have life-changing results without drugs, surgery, or downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, or hips, enough is enough. Call 904-274-5522 with locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. That's 274-5522.
Are you looking to grow your career? Good news. Chick-fil-A restaurants in your area are hiring and have what you are looking for: unique opportunities and excellent benefits. Chick-fil-A operators are known for investing in their team members through things like mentorship and coaching, leadership development, and competitive pay. Don't miss the chance to be part of your local Chick-fil-A team. Apply today by visiting your local Chick-fil-A or apply online. Most Chick-fil-A restaurants are operated by independent franchise owners. Chick-fil-A, an equal opportunity employer.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We power our local hospitals. We power connections with friends. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. How powerful is that? Visit Batteries Plus for free auto battery testing and free installation too at most locations. See batteriesplus.com for details.
More than qualified to handle your roof. Call J&M and we'll show you the proof. Check with our customers and they all say only one way to go, the J&M way.
We take pride in doing quality work at a fair price. We use GAF Shingles, America's largest shingle manufacturer. J&M Roofing, under the umbrella. Call 800-640-4594.
License number CCC 1331951.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on The Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
When looking for a firearm, you want knowledge of product, a fair price, and of course, a quick process. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is always stocked with brand new firearms and the quickest in and out times this side of the ditch. BeachesJewelryandPawn.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein and Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein and Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
What's going on in the world? It's time for Frangie Show news and notes. Here's Lauren Brooks.
Again, happy birthday to Prince, who left us in 2016. We will start, gentlemen, in the world of Major League Baseball. Smoky conditions stemming from Canadian wildfires have caused the White Sox-Yankees game to be postponed, as well as the Phillies-Tigers game in Philadelphia. However, the Nationals-Diamondbacks game in D.C. will be played as scheduled. So they're supposed to have double headers starting tomorrow at 4 p.m. I have no idea how the air is supposed to be cleared by then, but certainly that's what they're hoping.
I watched the Pirates because the debacle lost to the A's 2 out of 3.
Ooh.
But I watched the Pirates.
The A's apparently are beating the Braves and the Pirates recently.
But I watched the beginning of the game today. We gave up 7 in the first, so I quit watching. But I watched the first inning today, and they were talking all about it, about how the Canadian wildfires were affected. They had talked about not playing the game.
I mean, did you see
Pittsburgh.
Pictures from New York?
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay, you should see the eerie orange haze that has settled over the ballpark, and it makes sense that you can't play in that.
They were talking about not playing the game in Pittsburgh. They had that conversation, yeah. But they played, but there was a lot of debate, according to the broadcast, a lot of debate about it.
Aaron Judge is heading to the IL after he suffered a bruise and a sprain of the ligament in his right big toe. Of course, he suffered that after running into the fence during a great catch at Dodger Stadium on Saturday, and now the Dodgers are going to put padding where he hit the concrete.
How about that? Yeah, he went pretty hard on that. Aaron Judge doesn't need to be out for very long. I mean, the Yankees they're playing uphill, man.
And he's second in the bigs with 19 home runs.
Yeah.
When he was out before on IL, Gibby, the Yankees lost 6 out of 10 the last time.
Yeah, obviously he's a huge player, but Aaron Judge can do some damage to a wall. Aaron Judge is like 6'8" or something crazy. Yeah, he's a big dude.
Who's first, Polar Bear?
Yes, with 22.
Yeah, he just hit his 22nd, I think, earlier this week.
Yeah,
I think he hit one last night.
He did hit one against the Braves.
But the Braves won.
There we go. Let's make sure we mention that. Speaking of the Braves, Luis Reyes, he's a Marlins player, but I'll get to the Braves in a second, went 2 for 4 in the Marlins win over the Royals last night. He's now hitting .401, making him the first player to be batting 400 or better 62 games into a season since Chipper Jones in 2008.
How about that?
One of 27 is coming there.
Hey, what's the George Brett hit 390? Is that the highest we've had since Bill Terry did it in 20s or 30s?
It would be. That's what I would have answered.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe somebody in the last 15 years did Ichiro ever get close.
I don't think he hit 390.
I don't think he got 390.
Yeah, George Brett hit 390 in whatever year that was. And that had to be the high. 390.
That's and again, this not to take anything away from him. He's obviously really talented, but I mean, that average is going to be at 330 by the time you get a couple months down the road, which is still an unbelievable year.
Yeah, that's right.
One of my buddies told me that Nomar Garciaparra in 2000 hit 400 into July, and then it ended after that. But the most recent was, as you said, Lauren Chipper, and hit 400 into June in 2008.
He was hitting 421.
Yeah, it was a crazy year.
I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that part.
So Florida will take on South Carolina Friday, 6 p.m. first pitch, Saturday, 3 p.m. I saw that all the tickets, other than general admission, have already been sold out. They sold out in like 20 minutes, so Gator fans are certainly excited, probably some Gamecocks fans as well. We will definitely have at least 2 SEC teams in Omaha because LSU takes on Kentucky in a super regional, and, of course, then the Florida-South Carolina matchup in Gainesville as well.
How many could they have? 6?
Alabama. We don't count Texas yet. Tennessee, and then Kentucky or LSU, Florida or South Carolina.
So 4.
So that's it.
So they could have half the field,
half.
not
Could
counting
have half.
a future.
They're going to have 2, And if Tennessee and Alabama get there, they would have 4.
Okay.
Right.
And then
Now,
if
had they
Texas
been-
gets there, they would unofficially have
Yes.
5.
Right.
Now, had they been matched up, let's say, against an Oral Roberts, like it's Oregon versus Oral Roberts or Indiana State, one of the other SEC teams that's matched against an SEC team, it certainly could have been more
Yeah, I nervous.
as well. I think we all are.
I don't know what it is. They're
Well,
in my-
I mean,
they're-
you should be
they're in
nervous.
my head.
It's basically a Sweet 16 game.
It is a
Correct.
Sweet 16.
I mean,
but,
so you
yeah,
would be
that-
nervous
that's right,
even
good
if
point.
Florida was like a 1 seed in the
Yeah,
NCAA tournament
yeah.
if you were playing a
Yeah.
Sweet 16 game.
Good, right. And I wish it wasn't them. I wish it was.
Understand.
I wish it was any. Honestly,
I'm glad it's them.
are you? Why? Are you really?
Because they swept Florida in the regular season.
So to hell with them.
And I think Florida's going to be motivated.
For me personally, I'd prefer it to be any of the other 14, including LSU. That's just me. I'd prefer it to be any.
I
Other.
mean, I'd rather it be Indiana State.
Well, I know, but I hear you. I hear you. But you have the right attitude.
Yeah.
The hell
I'd
with
like
them. Let's
it to
go
be-
play them.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be Alabama just so we can claim
Yeah.
some victory over Alabama in some sport.
This one makes me nervous, though.
I
They
think
have
it should.
A really good, they have
I'm
a really
incredibly
good, They have a
nervous.
really good program.
You know, real quick of the teams that are in their super regionals. So TCU is in the super regionals in baseball.
Right.
They went to the national championship in football. They were 3 points away from making the Sweet 16 in men's basketball. Now they're in
How about
the
that?
college baseball Sweet 16.
Pretty impressive.
Their
I mean,
athletic
You know what?
director
I
deserves
didn't-
a raise.
Yeah.
didn't
I know they
realize
got smoked in the football game, but to be
they
there,
still got there. They beat
think
Michigan.
I think that's unfair to say smoked because they only lost 65 to 7.
but I mean, hey, they got a good program, athletic program.
The fact that they got there, you're right.
Speaking of Florida baseball, Jack Caglione has been named one of 3 finalists for the 2023 Golden Spikes Award. You can guess one of the other ones, Frank.
I'm going to guess Dylan Cruz.
You are correct. Do you want to try and guess the other one? I had never heard of this gentleman, but that doesn't mean much.
I'm going to say
Tony Gwynn.
I'm going to say Paul Skeens, also from LSU.
You are correct.
Yeah.
It is Paul Skeens. I
Wow.
have not heard of him.
pitcher.
So
very well
LSU
done.
has
2 of the 3.
2 of the 3.
Yeah, LSU
now, does
and-
that work like
LSU
Heisman voting?
LSU and Florida.
They pull
Well, are they
votes
going to
away from
split
each
the
other?
vote?
Yeah. LSU and Florida have 4 of the 5 best players in the country. Skeens, Cruz, Langford, and Kaggs are 4 of the 5 best players in the country.
Can Skeens get drafted, unlike Kaggs?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Skeens,
so 3 of the 4 will be out of college baseball
the
next
first overall pick. The first overall pick is going to be Cruz, Langford, Skeens, or 1 or 2 high school guys.
Okay,
I can
so
tell-
Skeens is the one when they say Wyatt Langford is a top 3 player.
Yeah.
What they're saying is Skeens is the other one. They
Yeah,
always say Dylan Cruz. I've
Skeens
never
is
mentioned.
Skeens is 6'6", 250,
Okay.
and throws 1,000 miles an hour. He's that guy.
One other college baseball note: after such a great season and also already being named second-team All-American, Evan Crest was named a freshman All-American by Collegiate Baseball, the JU pitcher.
What a good player he is. And by the way, I hope they keep him. You know, these good freshmen leave. He's really good.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, you've had him. He's really good. I hope they're able. I worry about when JU and UNF get a great freshman, like really good. I hope they don't lose him. I really do. I hope he plays at JU.
He's in stature, he's a little guy. He's like 165 pounds,
he's good.
but he's got the fastball is like 94, 95 almost. Yeah. But it's got some good life on it. Yeah, hopefully they will.
So getting back to real quick to our 400 discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Tony Gwynn in 1994 hit 394.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that. I don't remember.
And finished 7th in the MVP voting.
How about that?
How does that happen?
Did he really?
7th? And he hit 394.
Well, that's stupid. You know.
Wow.
I mean, if you don't win it because the guy hit 58 home runs, fine. But you can't be 7th. Who's ahead of him?
Wow. Now he did only play 110 games,
okay.
so he maybe that's why.
Yeah,
but
that's
still,
probably
that seems like
okay.
that seems like pretty low
But
for a
you
guy
just-
that
you-
almost
you-
hit 400.
You just said why, by the way.
WWE
I still don't like it.
Hall of Famer, the Iron Sheik, passed away today at the age of 81. He was known for his rivalry with Hulk Hogan and winning the WWF World Heavyweight Championship back in 1983.
One of the greatest heels of all time. That is what makes pro wrestling unique. Is the bad guy often wins, and a lot of people love it for that, and that carries over today. The heel will always be a core part of pro wrestling, and the Iron Sheik was about as good as it gets.
There you go.
The camel clutch was his finisher. People
I
would tap out to the camel
didn't-
clutch.
I didn't know any of that, but now I do.
Yeah.
There you go.
From Sheik to Sheik, I suppose. The Saudis yesterday, obviously, we talked all about Liv and public investment fund and the PGA Tour and all those things.
Speaking of heel turns.
Yes. But today the Saudis did not win as Lionel Messi turned down the offers from the Saudis, which reportedly $1 billion, $1 billion, and he will play for David Beckham's club, Inter Miami, in the MLS.
He turned down $1 billion?
That is, again, according to reports. I don't know if that's accurate, but that is what has been reported. They have spent billions. They already have Cristiano Ronaldo. They have spent billions over the past 2 years trying to get some of the best soccer players or football players to their league. But yeah, so now with his deal with Inter Miami, he gets some revenue generated by subscribers to the MLS season pass on Apple TV. He gets some profits from Adidas in a profit-sharing agreement. And he also has a clause people expect to have potential future club ownership. That is exactly what happened with David Beckham way back in 2007 when he left Real Madrid to come to LA Galaxy. So he gets a portion of club ownership, obviously, which the NFL does not do.
We had a lot of conversation about Lamar Jackson getting $30 million.
Yeah.
That's $1,000 million. I mean,
it's unreal.
Good gracious.
And I mean, imagine what Jamie Tartt's going to get.
I can only imagine.
And Messi, I think most people would tell you, would be worth that when they have that much money. I mean, again, their money is seemingly endless. One NBA note, the Suns waived Chris Paul, so he's now a free agent. He does plan to play several more years and looks to join a contending team.
Several more years? He's 74. How old's Chris Paul?
I thought he was like 38.
He's all of that, isn't he?
I mean,
and he looks old.
I think he was in
He's
the
a good
same
player,
draft as
He's 38.
Bird
He's
and
young.
Magic. I think he went third.
By the way, we did not get to this. Hayes, I know you're a Madden lover. Josh Allen, Bills quarterback, obviously not Jaguars, outside linebacker, will grace the cover of Madden 24, the most recent quarterbacks to do so, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Obviously, he's an electrifying player, and he's a very high-profile player, so it's a good choice. And who knows, maybe next year it will be Mr. Trevor Lawrence on the cover of
That'd be
Madden.
good. That'd be awesome.
That would be sensational. Before we say hello to Rick Ballou, per Brett McMurphy, for the second consecutive season, App State has sold out its entire season
Come on,
ticket
App State.
allotment.
Come on, Gibby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We also, baseball sold out this year. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, hopefully we can keep on winning.
We're going to do this tomorrow on the program, by the way. We never got to it for 2 days in a row, so I'm going to still come back to it. But there's a college quarterbacks list from Stuart Mandel and Bruce Feldman. Do you see it?
I think so. Is it
30,
it relates the tiers?
Yeah.
Where Caleb's in.
Yeah, Caleb's his own tier. 31 quarterbacks.
I did see those.
Graham Mertz didn't make it.
Did not make a tier.
Did not make the 31.
That caused him tears.
He didn't.
Tierless.
Well played. Yeah. Did not make the 31. So.
Oh, by the way, also, congratulations, speaking of Florida, to J.C. Deacon, the Florida golf coach. He won the National Golf Coach of the Year. Isn't that kind of an obvious one? Like, whoever wins the national championship is going to be the national golf coach?
I will say this in previewing that segment tomorrow.
Yeah.
If Graham Mertz has a huge year, Billy Napier will take the biggest victory lap
In his
of any
Maybach?
of any college coach we've seen in a while.
Yeah,
if somehow he gets
Agreed.
a good season out of it.
You know who did make the 31? Some guy named Tanner Mordecai, who's this year's Wisconsin quarterback.
I've heard of him.
I had not heard of him. So there's that.
All right, let's say hello to Rick.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL rolling with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Can you imagine what it would be like to be over there at home in Bartram Springs tonight when it's the Sooners and the Knowles? I mean, in the sports bar, not speaking to each other, sitting on opposite ends of the couch, mad, complaining about the umpires in that Women's College World Series. I may come over and break in just to watch it.
It's going to be bar only for me upstairs. She'll be downstairs with the big TV. She's got too many teams. She went to Tech for 2, Oklahoma for 2. Her sons went to Florida State. She's like all fired up when Tech took game 1 against Florida.
Yeah,
and they got bombed. And I'm like, now she's got Oklahoma that's won 59 straight in softball.
Right.
And so I don't know how I'm going to handle I honestly don't know how I'm going to handle all of this.
Are you going to watch any of it?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
It's
volume or no?
Perhaps. I mean, if are you trying to tell me that once again it's going to be not Pam Weber, but Beth Mullins on the call?
You meant Pam Ward's what you meant.
It's a long drive, stretch. It is out of here, home run. Florida State's Beth Mo. It was a great call the other day.
That's
right up there with Dick Stockton in 75. If it stays fair, it's gone.
Oh, Rick, you're the greatest. FSU in Oklahoma
coming up tonight.
I know it is. How you doing? You all right?
Man, I'm awesome. I'm giddy.
The stadium looked good today?
Yeah, it did. And I always love days with position coaches because you know they're going to be so thorough because I think every coach in the world someday wants to be what? A coordinator or a head coach.
Correct.
So it's their opportunity to get their word out. And I'm going to go right with Bob Sutton here, the senior defensive assistant at 20 past. He had some really good answers today. I got into the whole 4-3 with him, taking the football away. Second-year guys, kind of phrasing it like out of all the talk of adding a slot or adding a pass rush or everything else, if you can get improvement from Trayvon, Devin, Chad, and I even put Cisco in there because I basically thought it was a lost year with him 2 years ago with Urban. And I just thought his answers were spectacular. So real good day with the coaches and fired up about that. That'll be just about all that we do tonight, except for that 20-minute breakdown on Florida State Oklahoma softball.
Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Rick Beluga's into the night. The Women's College World Series is tonight. All right, so you're getting up early in the morning. We won't see you tomorrow.
I mean, honestly, it's like the same time I normally wake up.
Okay. You will.
It's like 6 o'clock.
All right, we won't see you tomorrow until we
But
prank
no, I
call
will
you
miss
at
you
about
guys the
4:20.
next 2 days, and good luck prank calling.
We're working. Hey, we're already working on the pranks. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. So
I feel good about it.
You have Prince Edward in the can. Maybe you should let him out. Folks, that's our program. Thanks for being part of it. Don't go anywhere. Rick Beluga's into the night right now. Lauren will be with Mia and Tom McManus doing the drill the next 2 days as those guys are both off. Hayes and I have it along with Gibby tomorrow afternoon. So long.
XL takes you behind the microphone.
Are you crying? There's no crying.
You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
And you know why?
What?
No crying.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Because there's no crying.
At Hodges Mazda, we have a Mazda with your name on it just in time for summer. Inventory is back and so is 0% financing. Lauren Brooks here. Purchase a new 2023 Mazda CX-9 and enjoy 0% APR for 36 months. You heard right, 0% financing on a new Mazda CX-9 with third row seating. And at Hodges Mazda, all vehicle purchases come with 2 years free maintenance. That's peace of mind. Don't purchase until you shop with Hodges Mazda. Stop by today or online at HodgesMazda.com. See dealer for details, terms and fees for qualified customers through Mazda Financial Services. 36-month APR expires July 5th, 2023.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need.